Let me know when you're ready, Janice.
Video narrative down. You said 12 o'clock. Right.
Mayor,
Test.
we're recording.
All right, very good. Good evening. Welcome to the August 5th, 2024 Township Committee Meeting held at 7 o'clock or thereabouts at the Municipal Building, 770 Coopertown Road in Delanco. Can I have a roll call, please? Janice.
Mrs. Patrick. Here. Mr. Olet.
Here.
Ms. Seuss. Here. Mr. Templeton. And Mr. Bartlett.
Here. Also present, Mr. Schwab, our Township Administrator, Mr. Fox, our Township Engineer, Mr. Heinhold, our Township Solicitor, Mrs. Lohr, our Municipal Clerk, Mrs. Russell, our Deputy Municipal Clerk, Mr. Fenimore, the Superintendent of Public Works, and Mr. Tilger, the Police Chief. Please rise for the flag salute. The sunshine statement, please, Janice.
Please be advised that proper notice of this meeting has been given in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act in the following manner. Written notice has been mailed to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post and published in the January 4th, 2024 editions. Written notice has been posted on the official bulletin board of the Township of Delanco at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. This meeting of the Delanco Township Committee may be transmitted via live stream on YouTube video. The streaming of the meeting is not intended to be relied upon as formal public access under the Open Public Meetings Act, and if the technology is disrupted for any reason, the Township meeting will proceed in person as an official meeting in accord with the official notice. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Janice. We will start off tonight with Ordinance 2024-18, an ordinance amending Chapter 250 of the Code of the Township of Delanco, governing streets and roads at Article 3, governing driveways. Second reading by title only and public hearing. Hearing is now open to the public for Ordinance 2024-18 and 18 only. Seeing no members of the public coming forward for Ordinance 2024-18, we will close that hearing to the public, and I'll ask for a motion to approve Ordinance 2024-18.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Seuss, second by Ms. Fitzpatrick to adopt 2024-18. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Patrick.
Yes.
Mr. Olet.
Yes.
Ms. Seuss.
Yes.
Mr. Templeton.
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett.
Yes. Ordinance 2024-19, amending the Township Code at Chapter 193 governing Hawk Island. Second reading by title only and public hearing. For those here, originally in 1978, the Township Committee decided to enact an ordinance that closed Hawk Island from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., and it also prevented possession or consumption of alcoholic beverages at any time on Hawk Island. Reading through the meeting minutes of the Township Committee from 1979, there were notes that people were removing dirt from Hawk Island and trucks were tearing up the streets. And a month later, they determined that it was a construction company taking dirt out. So a month after that, they decided just to close Hawk Island as the response to people taking dirt out there. So the response was simply close the island off to everybody at all times. And then the Township Code governing Hawk Island was then adopted, which is still here to this date. That simply states the entranceways to attractive ground located in the Township of Delanco, known and designated as Hawk Island, which is owned by the Township of Delanco, is hereby closed to access to or from Hawk Island, and the Police Department of the Township of Delanco is hereby directed to post appropriate signs on the property in question and to treat any persons using or attempting to use the ground as trespassing, subject to the penalties as provided under the trespass laws under the state of New Jersey. Now, not only is some of the existing code factually incorrect, regardless of what is actually in the code, Hawk Island has continued to be used illegally by the public, the majority of which simply want to take in its beauty of its natural preserved lands. The goal of this updated ordinance is to thoroughly update the code in order to not have our residents be treated as criminals for simply taking a hike on the man-made trails, but also to be specifically clear on what is and is not acceptable, as opposed to something generic such as no trespassing, which has been in the ordinance for the last 45 years and virtually ignored. Late last year, the Township Committee passed an ordinance authorizing the placement of deed restrictions on Hawk Island on the township-owned lands to place it on the Green Acres Rossi list, that's the recreation and open space inventory, in order to prevent its disposal or any development of these properties. And it's our goal that these properties be preserved as it is truly one of the treasures here in town. And I signed that deed earlier this year, and it was recorded at the county. So Hawk Island can and will never be developed, and this ordinance here tonight is to make sure for our residents it's never destroyed by the people visiting it. And we have already coordinated with our Public Works Department on cleaning up the trash, and the police are going to be patrolling out there. So this is done for the residents. So now we will open the hearing to the public for ordinance 2024-19 and -19 only. If you have any comments or questions, please approach the podium. I'll grab you, hold on. Please approach I'll go in order that I'm seeing hands raised, or at least I'll try to. If you have any comments or questions, I believe you were the first one up, just come to the podium, give your name and address for the record. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I was pointing to, he was up first.
315 Delaware
Okay.
Avenue, it's, they call Orchard Lane, it's in the.
That's fine.
They call
Your
it
name again, sir.
Michael Brady, G-R-A-D-Y.
Thank you.
You're in that little section kind of
Yeah,
off
it's
there.
in there, you can't get, it's not on Delaware property.
I know what you're talking about, yep.
My concern is two things. If it's open to the public, which is great, I would like to go back there myself. But where are people going to park who want to come, who, are not within walking distance, okay? Where are they going to park? They're going to end up all, coming back behind my house, and, parking there. And also, how's this going to be enforced as far as ATVs and stuff? Like, I rode dirt bikes when I was a kid too, and I don't have a problem with people doing it during the day. But they're out there at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and, waking me up and stuff like that. And I know that the gentleman from the Works Department, looking back there with the backhoe, they'll, destroy the area where they used to get up. Within hours, they're back up there again. So, anyway, that's my questions.
Thank you. And I'll leave the question as far as the enforcement to Chief Tilger, but as far as the parking, we're not doing anything as far as allowing extra people to come in there. Everything is remaining status quo. The people are going back there right now. The people are parking where they're parking. We're not creating more for them to do. They're already going back there.
We're not opening this
It's
up
not a
as a
park.
park. We're trying to police what's going on now.
But I mean, what I'm hearing, like with what you just said, though, it's been closed, and everybody pretty much knows that it's closed.
Correct.
Now, during certain hours, what is it, during the day, what is it, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. or something like that?
Dawn to
It's
dusk.
going to be open. And the word's going to get out, it's going to be like, hey, let's go back there. You know what I mean? I always wanted to go back there and see what's going on. So I think it's inevitable you're going to attract the people. You know what I mean? And that's one of my concern is, are they just going to park up and down Vine Street? A lot of those people don't have garages. They have to park on the street, and then that's going to create a problem. And I'm just thinking that, I already see some people coming, but like you said, because it's closed, a man comes and walks his dog, I see his Toyota truck all the time. Is that going to end up being more, and people are just going to look and, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, and I'll let the chief go as far as.
I agree. That's going to be an uphill battle we're going to deal with. I agree with you. I think once it is.
Use the mic,
it's
Adam.
out there. Excuse me?
Use the microphone.
So I agree. I think it's going to be a problem that we're going to be dealing with because it is they are public streets. People are allowed to park on public streets. There's going to be congestion if the word gets out and it does start getting used, more heavily.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. It's gonna happen.
You know, when you talk about techniques for combating the enforcement part, we're looking into purchasing an ATV. I'm also looking into now, getting up with the times and looking into the purchase of a drone. I'm just in the infancy stages of trying to get, you know, some prices on approved equipment that would also be able to assist us, because obviously, you know, the island, we can't get back to all the locations there. So we're gonna have to start thinking outside the box to really combat these problems if they do, you know, show their face.
Okay, well, I just wanted to, those are my concerns, because I mean, I live right there, I lived there for a long time, and I've grown accustomed to the nice, quiet peace back there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Most of the gestation of this ordinance is really to give law enforcement some teeth and some clarity on the status of the various parcels out there. The township has about 50% of the land out there. There's a large state parcel. There's 2 other parcels that Mr. Bartlett has done basically a detailed title search, that there's some ambiguity there. And underlying all of that land, the state has an underlying tidelands claim to probably 70 to 80% of what's dry land out there. So, but really this was an incremental step to try to get some clarity for law enforcement, just to try to get a handle on some of the behavior out there that's truly destructive and despoiling a treasure to this region. So that's where we are right now. We're not putting up a sign that it's going to be a park or advertised. It's really to give law enforcement some maneuvering room.
Just give your name and address for the record.
Vincent Girolami, I'll spell that, that's G as in George, Irolami, 105 Vine Street, Delanco, New Jersey. I have a written statement addressing ordinance 2024-19, the amending of Township Code, Chapter 197, governing Hawk Island, Subchapter 197, as we had in Article 197-1, the purpose. It seems the Township Committee, by this ordinance, wishes to deregulate Hawk Island area and access thereto. Most, if not all of the, and then next week they get cited again, and next week. So hopefully,
People getting excited will cause the negative to say, hey, you know what, maybe we shouldn't go out to Hawk Island and Delanco because we're getting a $2,000 fine, and I think the ordinance says we're up to 90 days in jail time. So you would hope that people would have some common sense.
yes.
And I know what the saying is, right? I know, I'm putting too much faith in people. Yep.
Somewhere in the 1890s, Mark Twain made a statement. The least common thing around these parts seems to be common sense. So it's been true for 100 years and more. It's going to be true for another 100 years and more. Anyway,
Thank you. I do appreciate your comments.
I read my statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello, just name and address for the record.
Jennifer Werner, V-E-R-N-E-R, 100 Walter Avenue, right across the street from lovely Hawk Island. I've been dealing with this crap for 35 years. You probably know me, I call so much.
I do.
Yes. He covered a lot of what I was going to talk about. Like the trash, what he was saying, and I don't think John and his guys should be responsible for cleaning that up. I mean, that's not great, take it in, bring it out, that's not gonna happen. Someone that I know went up there to check out to see what was going on, because there were so many boaters going on to the little beach out there, not at the point. There was tons of people out there. He came across a woman taking number 2 right in the walkway. Right in the walkway, and then they had a pile to the left that's full of dirty diapers,
It's disgusting. Why should he have to clean that up? And then another thing, nobody's addressed the lake up there. I mean, who's going to be responsible when someone drowns?
Unfortunately,
There's been drownings up
yeah,
there.
unfortunately, the lake, that is owned by the state of New Jersey. That's not owned by the township, that's not owned by any of the private individuals.
Yeah, but that's not going to stop people from trying to sue you. You know that.
That's not going to stop them right now either.
Yeah, but anyway, that's just another problem. And like he was saying, the people that come from out of state, I had somebody park in front of my house and had a beer bottle on their roof, right in front of my house. I said, oh, that looks real good, you know? And so I called, but this was a few years ago. And then when the cops came and they didn't do anything, it was when Eddie was chief.
That's a while ago.
And when they went away, he threatened me. The guy threatened me, you know, I'll be back. But that doesn't scare me because when I get my higher well, you know, go ahead, come back. And then a couple of years ago, some people came off the island real late at night, and they were changing their clothes in the middle of the street, you know, getting naked, changing into dry clothes. And then the next day, when Anthony went outside, there's all drug paraphernalia in the middle of the street, needles and stuff. And that's what goes on up there. It's horrible. The answer is get these guys some quads, right?
We're working,
Agree.
and the committee's doing a good job working with
Get
us.
them some quads so they can, and you know what, as far as the walking and the hiking and the running and the biking, what the heck's Pennington Park for, you know? And I don't care if somebody like that goes up there. The fishermen, have you been down there and seen all their crap laying there? All their empty bait containers, their lines, and their hooks, and their hanging, you know. And I've been woken up so many times. The dirt bikers and all, you think they're going to say, they go up there now. They don't care. Trespassing. I asked them to have the Spanish signs so they can't say, oh, no speaking of English. Well, you know what? They can read it. They go right by it. And I don't know how I haven't
I
gotten
mean,
to a
the
fight.
people who can read English go right by it as well. So I don't think the
my God,
language, we
it's horrible
could
to
put
watch
French,
that.
German, and Russian up there, they'll still ignore it.
I mean, that doesn't bother me, but this trash and the dirt bikes and, you know, the toilet stuff and the loud music, oh my God, it sounds like it's right in my family room. I live right there, right at the dirt road, you know? And all this stuff is a joke to me. It's a joke. I mean, I can understand you're trying to do something good. It's not working. People are ignorant. They have no
haven't-
respect.
We haven't done anything yet.
We haven't-
Not to work.
We haven't
Yeah.
operated under these rules
It's
yet.
not going to work, you know.
But is the
It's not
answer to do
fun,
nothing?
you know?
Is the answer to do nothing? Like, I understand all your concerns, but what do we do? Do you guys have a better option for us? This is the only option we
Well,
have.
like he said, you open it up. You think that's not going to get around?
It's closed now.
It's closed now. It's not working
We're
for you,
still
is it?
having-
You open it up, it's gonna be 10 times worse.
But at least the police can then have the authority to do something. Right now, they don't because they don't.
Easy.
One at a time, please.
You're going to change the ordinance.
One at a time this evening. We have to be in order.
To this, but why can't you change it to where it helps us, you know? How would you like to have a bunch of people parked around your house and coming off the island? You don't know what time of night they're coming off.
Sir. Please, everybody will have their chance. We're going to do this in a civil manner.
This is how we get. We get so riled up. 'cause
And
it's
I
not
understand
right.
that, but
It's
we're
not
going to
right.
respect ourselves, act in a good manner in here, and each take our turn. We're all adults in this room. Thank you.
But, yeah, so that's, you know, that's my thing. I'm concerned about the lake. I'm concerned there's nobody going to be up there telling them not to go in the lake. I'm scared to death a little one's going to drown, you know? And like that gentleman said, and then I'll be done, is it was like 3 summers ago, and then when the police make a presence, it seems to calm down. You know, when they actually go up there, and it seems to calm down for a while. But the one, like 3 summers ago, I had to call the cops, and I watched, when the policeman went up there, I counted them, 50 people, 50. And most of them were from Pennsylvania, you know? join a pool, you know, and swimming in that filthy water, to wonder they don't glow at night. But, yeah, these guys, they have it rough, you know?
And I completely agree, John and his guys shouldn't have to go out there
No,
and
we
clean
should
people's
not.
crap out. They also shouldn't have to clean people's crap off Burlington Avenue and Coopertown Road and everywhere else that we do. It's not just Hawk Island. People are
People are
litterers.
ignorant.
People are ignorant,
Yeah, they are.
100%.
Yeah, they are.
2 years ago, we were out, we had Town Cleanup Day. Miss Holland, sitting in the back there, she ran that with the, I guess, Environmental Advisory Board. And we were out there for, I guess, 3-4 hours. The amount of trash that we brought just from a couple block radius around the Hickory Street ball field. I mean, we were in the, let's just say, we were in the train station area. The amount of stuff we pulled from within the tracks alone. People are ignorant.
Yeah.
John shouldn't have to clean that up.
No, he
People should
shouldn't.
throw their own stuff away. But unfortunately, in a modern society, we have to do that. You're paying taxes, you expect the town to be clean. So and as much as we have a million other things for John to do, storm cleanup and everything else, yeah, his guys have to do trash pickup as well. But,
I'd say keep the signs up, no trespassing, and if the walkers and hikers want to go up there, don't, you know, don't fight them.
then we have to enforce it on everybody. But yeah, I appreciate your comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. I would just like to make a comment as well, because I know I've received complaints through the years, and Jennifer is a dear friend of mine from way back when. So I think what we are trying to accomplish, and maybe the residents aren't seeing that, is that this will give our police the right to go up there and keep people off of there after dusk, I mean. So right now, they don't have that because this ordinance that's on the books is just, it's not even legal. So between, it was
It
way
was
back
done before I
when.
was born,
It
I'll
was-
say that.
So between our attorney and our police, we're trying to be able to enforce rules up there, to have people leave at a decent time, to have them take their trash out. Whether or not that's going to happen, we don't know. But we do have a fellow who is patrolling out there. We've put some trash cans out there now. John has been out there. I know, but I get pictures from what's going on out there on a weekly basis. And it's disgusting. It is disgusting. But this may help us stop it because the police right now, according to the ordinance we have, they don't really have the authority. We're giving them the authority to go up there. We're going to purchase the vehicle that they need to go up there. And I would think that when it's dark and if you hear something, call the police. Let them know so that they can start patrolling and the word will get out. And I really think that if Delanco starts to patrol after dusk, that these people will realize this is not their party area anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's the intent. That's the intent of this ordinance. The intent is not to have it flooded by outsiders. It's actually to try and enforce what we want to go on up there so that at a certain time, they're out. And if they're disobeying it, at least the officers have the teeth that they need to summons them, to give them.
One time when somebody was buzzing around going truck in the morning, this is years ago, and I went up there, I was so fed up.
I'm sorry, if you could just go by the microphone, just only so Bev doesn't freak out when she does the
This was
minutes.
years ago, yeah, and somebody was up there on a quad, and they're just making all kinds of racket, and it went on and on and on, and it was like 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. I called for the police, and, you know, I know that's not a priority, they're busy doing other stuff, so it took them a little while to get there. So I walked up to the top of that, where the gate is, I walked up to the top, it was more open then, and I picked up a big rock, and I'm standing there like this with my rock, and the police officer finally comes, he says, ma'am, what are you doing? I said, I'm gonna chuck this rock at this guy when he rides by me. He's like, no, don't do that, we'll take care of it. But that's how you get, you know? Anyway, I'm done, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Chief, not to put you on the spot, do you get, how many calls would you say on average? Do you get
It varies each year, but summertime it always increases, obviously. But it's steady, and over the years, like I said, it's always been that gray area. It's always been difficult for us because we've never had the real rights to know,
Right.
the zones and also the enforcement abilities.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Just give your name and address.
101 Vine Street, Donna Morris, Morris. My predecessors have pretty much covered everything. The suggestion I have, don't let a cooler go back there, because there's alcohol going back there constantly. I mean, they'll carry a whole case back under their arm. Some of the people that go back there are very trashy, obviously. And I don't know if they have the wrong upbringing, because I walked out my back door one day, and here is a gentleman standing in the right-of-way, taking a whiz on the beach. Not cool, about 30 feet away from me. You know, a lot of people that go back there don't follow rules, even common sense rules. How are you going to enforce the rules? Then they're not even going to understand what the rules are, most of them. I mean,
We'd have to post.
Well, I know
and
we're
we're going to run you guys ragged. Honestly.
That's all right, that's what we're here for. There's going to be signage that we're talking about, as well as we're going to take a really proactive approach. Once this is in code, my officers will be detailed out there, and they're going to be told, zero tolerance policy on the enforcement of a lot of these regulations. Because without us actually using the power to enforce it and citing them, obviously nothing's going to change.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But we're going to need your help too. I mean, you see someone pulling up and getting the case of Corona out of the back of the car, call the police. 'Cause
Consider yourself deputized.
where else are they going?
Nancy Saha, 105 Vine Street.
105. You
So
got
I'm
her name, Beth?
thinking- I did, I'm sorry.
Just give your name one more time for her.
Nancy Saha, SACCA, 105 Vine Street. So if you decide to open this up, not for vehicles, but just for walk-ins, and a lot of people come, and I know the streets are public property, anyone can park, but then we have to deal with just car after car after car after car, blocking our driveways, blocking the fire hydrants, and people just partying all up and down our street, which is what we've been dealing with. And I think that's going to become even a bigger problem when you decide, because they're not coming by walking, they're coming by cars.
Right.
And they're taking up, everyone's street, which I understand they're entitled to do that, but we have driveways, we have fire hydrants.
Yeah, they're not entitled to block your driveways. They're not entitled to block fire hydrants.
We're
And
nervous
if
wreck
they-
sometimes when we see them, when we're in our backyard, they're out front. We have to watch and make sure they're not hitting our car, because they're out there with their coolers, they got their, their pickup trucks and the backs down,
Right.
they're sitting there. We have to watch, and we don't want to say anything because we don't want retribution. So it's, it's a little scary.
As far as parking in front of driveways, blocking hydrants, if someone is doing that, you can call the non-emergency number, 461-1515 or 911, it's easy to remember.
We've called quite a few
And
times.
they'll go out there and they'll cite them.
We actually had a police officer come out and saw a car, was towed within like 15 minutes, well, we're looking for that guy.
Exactly.
And so you don't know, what their agendas are, I mean, someone could be very nice people, but some of them just, they don't care about your property. And that's my biggest concern. Yeah, I have concerns what they're doing back there, but what they're doing on our streets also.
And once the word gets out, this is not where you want to trespass, you don't want to go on Hawk Island and do these things that are outlined as illegal, that problem's going to go away. That's the hope.
And
They're
also,
there now, and we can't do anything about them now.
you can always call anonymously too. You don't have to give your name when you call that
But we
number.
call. We've been here 3 years and we've been
Yeah.
dealing
But if
with
you're
this
worried
problem.
about any
absolutely.
retaliation or anything like
We have
that.
a peach tree, and they come up and take the peaches off the trees, and it's, it's a big deal to us, My neighbor, we were sitting there one day, and this one guy comes up, decides to sit under her tree because it was hot. She hadn't got, so can you please get off my property? We have to deal with this all the time. Well, and one respect or another.
I've been saying this too much lately. You can't fix stupid.
If I'm afraid that with what you propose to do, now we're gonna have a bigger problem and calling the police constantly because these people are on our streets and they're, wreaking havoc. So, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can you mark the fire hydrant, please, in front of my house?
Market?
Yes, and it should be yellow.
Oh, the curb you're talking about.
Yes.
John? Got that? And which one was your house? I'm sorry, 10...
What's your address?
What was your address?
The fire hydrant.
The fire hydrant?
101 Vine Street.
101 Vine, okay.
Barbara Morris.
You didn't get the right person.
101 Walter Avenue. I just have two questions. Since
Sure.
you're planning to patrol more, is the plan to increase the police force to be able to accommodate that extra patrolling?
We've actually been increasing the police force. We have another member in the academy, just sworn in last week?
Today,
Did it?
he started the academy.
We swore him in last week, yeah.
And is the only entrance to Hawk Island going to be at the gates of at the end of
At
Vine
Vine,
Street?
correct.
So they're not going to be allowed to access next to my property on 101 Water, like to be able to go up that hill and cut through my lawn?
No, the only access is the one at the end of Vine Street where the gate is correct currently.
All right, thank you.
Marianne, if they're accessing your property, you should put a sign up, private property, because there are
And that
trespassing.
works very well, doesn't it, Mr. Rolette?
I mean, it's worth it, I mean, because
I know, but.
there are
I mean,
trespassing. 'Cause
basically, we
I've
have,
had
so we have
other-
no trespassing now, and they don't.
Yeah, I've had another resident who lives, and they walk right through her property, and even the hunters walk right through her property with their guns. And so, I mean, even if they see the sign, and if you see them, call
I
the
will.
police. But I would put a sign up, because that's one more deterrent, and if they just stick their nose up to it, then feel free to call the police and say they're entering through my property.
And posted signage is easier to handle in court. Yep.
Yes.
Because then it's defined
Thank you,
trespassing.
Ms. Lambert. Next.
Steve Schofield, 230 Waltham. Carolyn and Matt said something tonight that I'm thinking. I want to first ask you, but I'm sure you'll be the one answering.
Can you step a little closer,
You'll be the
Steve?
one answering. Who knows? You said that this ordinance came out to be able to enforce better. Okay. So why can't you do what's in this ordinance but still keep Hawk Island closed?
Doug? Mr. Heinel?
Well, I don't think, unless I misunderstand what the overall issue is, the issue isn't just about trying to correct the negative activity out there, but it's also about trying to understand that we have residents who are accessing that property in a positive way and doing no harm.
And that is my second question that I was going to ask Matt for what you mentioned. So if you're concerned about the residents being arrested for trespassing, why not create a beach tag? A tag that you would give to the residents so you can distinguish between who has a beach, who has a tag, and you know then if they're a resident, and then that don't have a tag. You do that for parking down near the Delaware River. I'm not allowed to park down the Delaware River.
After hours.
But the people that live around there are. So if you're concerned about a resident being arrested or summoned for trespass,
Right.
then why don't we give residents the option of going up and getting a tag and
You say make it residents only is what you said.
residents only, so
Yes.
then you have the ability to determine.
I don't think that would be.
I mean, it's an option, whether it's a viable option, I don't know.
Can you do that since it's on the Rossi?
No, we need, yeah.
No, I mean,
Acres.
we don't have the ability to exclude non-residents under that scenario. There's no beach tag type mechanism that I'm aware of. Even beach tag communities have to offer it to non.
Is that because of Rossi or is that for a different? Because you do have parking permits. I'm a resident, but I still can't park down near the river unless I know someone, or I assume if I go get a parking permit, I'm allowed to park there.
I don't necessarily agree with that either, but that
But
was done
that's
before I was on
laws.
committee.
So, and then if that's not an option, then how about the people that are concerned about parking, give them a parking permit that no one else is allowed. But I'm afraid when that happens, we'll just keep moving down, the street.
Yeah.
But you have a couple options that I haven't heard tonight, whether or not they're viable, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is not an easy issue, as indicated by the comments. And I think it's something that the community, there is a benefit to positive public access, and I think that's part of what the committee is recognizing. Good people who go back and just take a walk see things that we might not see otherwise. We've seen that in other parts of the town where there is public access. We want that public access to not be punishable. But this is an ordinance to try to take a first step, and it doesn't mean that it has to be the last step that we take on this. So I think there's a openness and a malleability to try and say, look, let's try and do something here to address the problems. Nobody wants Hawk Island to be filled with trash. Nobody wants people to be woken up in the middle of the night because of partiers out there. We're trying to give the police an avenue to do that, and I think if we find out that where there are secondary issues that come from this passage of ordinance, we're going to be back here again trying to get it right. But it's not an easy issue.
Thank you, Steve.
To add on to what Mr. Heinhold said, I think we had good success up at the West Avenue Parks, the dunes. That was kind of a Wild West area, a lot of litter, trail bikes, ATV, and a lot of destruction of the landscape up there. And we opened that up. We kept that as a natural area, and I think people just having regular traffic through there, same rules apply, dawn to dusk. And, you're still going to have, the people that don't read the signs, don't abide by the being a good citizen, but it's not worth it to shut out a beautiful area to the rest of the community for the bad behavior of a few. So hopefully this, as I said, it gives our law enforcement some clarity, and we can address the area. It's like a stop sign, a cop flags somebody for running a stop sign. It slows traffic down, people stop. Some people get rung up for riding a trail bike back there, or having a picnic and not cleaning up, or taking a case of beer back there. They get rung up, get a citation, the word will get out, and we're not going to put up with that crap. That's our intent.
Yeah.
I'll be quick. Deb Stinger, Ward 10, Orchard Avenue. So, of course, with my neighbors, everything that they have said, I wholeheartedly agree. Sometimes we come out, they're parked so close to our driveways that we really have to maneuver to get your car out. So they may not be right in front of it, but they're right at that tippy edge, and I swear they know it. So they're changing their children's diapers, probably taking a swimmy diaper off and putting a regular pamper or diaper on before they put them in the car, and just leaving your dirty diapers out there in the street. Yeah, left for us to clean up. We're not going to leave it out there. Our little area is really nice and clean. We all take pride in it. And my only other issue is there's a homeless couple living back there. So will something be done to assist that couple, to help maybe get them off the island? They've been back there for a while, at least this summer so far. They trash pick, they take, cushions back there, broken couches, whatever. We know they're living back there, and they're not the only ones that have been back there in the past. There's been other couples or people living back there. But right now, it is a young couple.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because I haven't heard this, and over the years, obviously, yes, we've dealt with
I
that.
hope that something was done to maybe help them.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
just give them a ticket or
right.
something. They need some help.
Yeah.
But at least we're aware of it, we can make contact with them and, give me a call or email me and I can get more specifics from you off, when we're out of here.
Yeah, our police force is always really good about helping people and giving them the resources that they need, the community resources and the outreach. They're always really good with that, so I'm sure they just want to kick them off and without any help, so.
Yeah, it's the first I'm hearing about that.
Yeah, none of us knew about that.
Please let us.
There's not the only, there's been in the past,
Oh, yeah.
since we've lived there, I
Yeah,
can't
no,
tell you
I
how
know
many
that.
people have lived back there. They end up passing away, most of them. Sad to say, but it does happen. So, okay.
Thank you, Misty. Anyone else? Good. Sir?
Hello, my name's Mike Steeman, I live at 410 Orchard Avenue, in Delanco. I'm so tired of picking up beer cans. I put a can out by my shed where I go in and I do a little work since I'm retired. And my trash can's always filled with their trash. So whose house should I go? Because I'm tired of doing it. I really am. I've been here 20 years now, and I've seen it progressively get worse and worse and worse. I've had a couple things that I had laying outside by my shed disappear on the weekend. The weekend is the biggest problem. I want people to go back there, but our biggest thing is parking, enforcement, which you guys do a great job, hands down.
Thank you.
Hands down. But if you want to pass the ordinance to get him teeth, you gotta enforce it. And like I said, the trash is unbelievable. Everybody that lives near that island's gotta pick up their trash. And like all my neighbors say, they go in there with coolers and barbecue grills and beach chairs and come out empty-handed. Where's all that stuff? It's all laying back there. And as one neighbor said, they changed their dirty diapers right there on the street, drop it on the street and keep going. Who's going to pick it up? Not our great township people. The neighbors got to pick it up, and we're really tired of it. So I hope you're listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stinger. Ms. Holland?
Christine Holland, 319 Delaware Avenue. First time speaking on this side of the mic.
Loud.
319 Delaware Avenue, Christine Holland. I just wanted to thank you guys for your work on this. I live right there, and from the day that I moved into this town, the fact that I haven't been able to use Hawk Island legally has been crazy to me, that we do have this gem here, that I see Amico Island and West Ave, and we can't use this. And it's been a shame. And the times that I have knowingly trespassed back there and encountered people with loose dogs, I'm breaking the law too. So there was nothing I could say. I don't have a leg to stand on, right? So I think that's Doug said it best, when you have positive people back there, positive people noticing that someone walked in with a six-pack and walked out empty-handed, that's on us now as the residents who can legally go back there and be part of the self-policing and hold people accountable. Don't be worried about being called a Karen. Just do your part and make sure. We've had litter cleanups at West Ave where there's virtually no litter now. It didn't used to be that way. So I think that overall, the net gain from having access to the park, it's going to outweigh. I know I'm spoiled in that little cul-de-sac that I live in, that parking is probably not going to affect me. Not like it will on Walter and Vine. I'm sorry for what you guys are very likely going to be encountering. But I think a lot of the traffic through there, once we get a handle on, policing and making sure this isn't party central anymore, it's going to be the local residents. I mean, I walk hundreds of miles through this town every week. I mean, that's going to be my route now. And I go in with a trash bag, and I'll come back out with a full trash bag until it's not a problem anymore. So I don't know. I thank you for all the hard work on this. This was something that I would have loved to accomplish during my time, but I'm so glad that you guys did. This and kayak access on Union Ave with the rules. So mission accomplished, guys. I hope. Thanks.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Mr. Dancer?
Rob Dancer, 1006 Hickory Street.
Christine just stole my thunder because that's almost exactly what I was going to say. I've been considering coming up to these meetings several times to ask why we don't have access to Hawk Island. So it's great that we're actually working towards that. That's fantastic. I walk all around town myself, and I would love to walk back to Hawk Island, but when the police years ago put out that threat to fine people, I was like, I'm not going back there. But I hope there can be some kind of solution with all the people that, do leave the trash alone, because that's not good. But it is public property. I've been amazed that we haven't been allowed back there yet. I had no idea why. Nobody was ever very clear on that. So I just want to say thank you for addressing it.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you, Ralph.
Anyone else? Going once, twice. Mr. Stinger.
Will the police officers be able to issue citations for littering?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Open out, yes.
100%. Yep.
We need search warrants for certain things, but if we have them with the open alcohol, then. If we get there and it's open.
It is. No alcohol.
No. I don't know if it says no coolers in here. Let's take a look real quick.
No, it doesn't say no coolers, but
Yeah,
it
but
does
it
say
does
no
say we can
alcohol,
amend it.
drugs.
We can absolutely amend the ordinance to include no coolers.
But it would be after we pass it.
I see a hand in.
I think we can regulate what we
Yep.
can take into.
Ms. Berger,
Ms.
did you
Berger,
want
you have
to
a
come
comment?
up?
Hello, Karen.
Hi, my name is Karen Berger, 130 Rancocas Avenue, Delanco, New Jersey, owner of Hawk Island Land. And if anybody's impacted by this, it's us. We, on weekends, deal with unlawful parking in our parking lots, where they will have one jet ski going in with 30 cars and 50 people this weekend we kicked out. They parked and they're like, no, we have a friend that paid for the jet ski, but we're walking out. And they go, it's their sterners. Ready? They bought a portable generator and now they're taking crock pots out. So we see that. I get impacted because they use my dumpster. I'd rather them use my dumpster than dump it out there. But they're dumping it on the side of the dumpster. Dirty diapers, beer bottles, clothes. We did put up a sign, we put up a gate, it's locked, cut. We're adding in Spanish because the majority of the people we encounter do not speak English or claim they don't speak English. So if any signs need to be put up there, it needs to be both in English and in Spanish.
And Portuguese.
Yes. The other thing I had was under 197.4 with prohibited activity. How, it says the visitors shall not use the property as boat, canoe, kayak, launch. Prohibit swimming from Delaware River to Rancocas Creek. How are you going to enforce that? If they're in the water, township doesn't own that property 70 feet out. How's that? And that's where the majority of people are coming. They're coming from Linden Avenue too. I have pictures of, I own a boat and a jet ski, and we'll drive by, and now there's massive tents out there on Saturdays and Sundays. 5 or 6 tents at a time. And they're coming from Linden Avenue in Pennsylvania too. When we drove by, there's a lot of Pennsylvania tags along with New Jersey. So I don't know how you're going to reinforce them drinking and partying, but they are coming on property, but they're standing in the water. I don't know how far down from the mean tide we can go and reinforce it.
That's a major issue we've been dealing with for years.
Yes, I've been a resident of the land.
Because a lot of them take jet skis from over the boat ramp in Philadelphia, come over, go on the beach. We've been in, we've worked with the state police and that's a really tough area for us because we can't do anything.
Yeah, so that's the majority of what's going on back there. So I don't know how that's going to. And then there was the other thing about I was going to address, like the parking passes. Why can't the residents of Michael Walter and Lyons get a parking pass, a weekend parking pass in front of their homes to deter the weekend problem with parking?
I think that's something the committee can definitely look into.
Each family would have in front of their homes.
Yeah, we did that. We did do that on the side streets for Delaware Avenue, since there's no parking on Delaware. For the people that live on Delaware, if they're having a party or something where they have more people visiting and they need parking, we issue permits for them.
Can we get them like a summertime permit?
It's something we could definitely
It'll
discuss.
be something we can look into.
Because that would deter people from parking there if they're going to get two.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
permit
That's
parking
definitely something that
only.
could be looked at.
Yeah, say permit parking only Friday at 5 o'clock
Friday, 3
till
o'clock on
Sunday,
Sunday
or
at
till
10.
Monday at 7 or something. We may be able to do that. I don't know, Doug. What do you
People that
think?
use my marina are
Yeah.
respectful, but we have a handful.
Yeah, we may be able to do that, like private park, and issue that permit parking.
Resident parking,
Resident
yeah.
parking
Yeah,
only.
this ordinance is definitely a great starting point. We wanted to get it on the books as soon as possible so we could at least police it
Oh, please,
part of
it's
the
been a
summer.
headache for me for,
Yeah, I know it
It
has.
impacts me.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Since the day I got on committee, this was something that I wanted to address. I've lived here for 11 years now, and I, like Christine said, always wanted to wonder why we didn't have access. It's definitely, we're going to take all of your, comments into consideration. If there's things we can perfect and add, like the coolers or the parking passes, it's an ongoing conversation. This isn't a one and done. We have a subcommittee to address this, so we're going to continue the talks, and if we can improve it, we will.
Are we going to be joining with the Marine Division if there is a problem with people on the water?
We do, but as you're aware, the Burlington Station,
I'm out there cleaning and bringing trash bags. I'm responsible for the signs that say taking trash. I'm responsible for the gallon bags hanging in, it impacts it comes to my property. So it goes into the water, and I was part of the Hawk Island cleanup with Minnie Prayer, and we went from having a trailer of trash to Dan's cans bringing out dumpsters. That's how bad it's gotten.
Yeah.
Trash. And they're beer bottles, and if you're walking up there, you're gonna step on them, and they throw them right into the fire, on the water.
I know a lot of these, parks and open spaces in the area have these Friends of Hawk Island organizations where it's residents that, come together and do the cleanups and they do monitoring and stuff. So maybe that's something the residents would want to look into, forming some kind of.
Are there gonna be trash recyclable cans out there?
I think there
There
are
are
cans out there now.
trash, there are trash
Yeah.
cans now at 4 different points.
Yeah,
that-
John put them out over, I guess, the last month or so.
Once a week,
Weekend, on like
and then
Monday.
one can out of 4 was full.
So where's the rest of it?
No, the others had a little bit in, and one had full.
Yeah, they just put 4 out there last week.
Okay. Because we've been probably about a dozen.
We used to do cleanups out there. There's some of the ladies here with CUPE, Citizens United to Save Hawk Island. And we did one usually around Halloween, after the summer. And we had a bunch of kids come out, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the town would come out. And it was very successful. So that could be something that we could start up again, just another group.
I know recreation. Phil, didn't recreation do a cleanup like 6 or 7 years ago?
Yeah, normally we do it once a year. We didn't do it last year, and I believe we're gonna be doing it this year.
Yeah, maybe a couple times a year, especially in the summer, something recreation can
Yeah.
consider again.
Yeah. that'd be
And
good.
we would obviously let the town residents know if they want to come out, of course, to get the community involved. I mean, nobody wants to clean up anybody else's trash, but it takes a village, right?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Berger. And for anyone who don't know the Bergers, they do a great job running Hawk Island Marina. They do a lot for the township. We have all of recreation's concerts out there, which hopefully everyone goes to. I think there's another one this Thursday night, Phil?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
They said, just say yes.
Thursday, Wednesday,
And they allow us to use that. And our fire department has our boat docked out there, and when we had the emergency squad, they allowed the emergency squad to have their boat out there. So thank you to John and Karen Berger for all they do for the community with owning Hawk Island. Any more?
One more comment. The people that came up and say how great it is, they're the kind of people we would love to have out there. It's, the riffraff that comes down there. That's, what we're really getting upset about.
We hear that loud.
You know, I'm sure we would even like to walk back there. But it's the other people.
We hear that loud and clear.
And if you think about the permit parking, that would be a big help, because we wouldn't have all these out-of-state people coming, because they can't park. You'd have people walking that live in town, that would be going back there for those park.
Yeah, that's a great
If
idea.
you really check into that, that would solve, it would make a world of difference.
Think we could definitely do that. Come
Come on up,
right on
please.
up there.
Yes, thank
Only
you.
because they record this.
My
Okay.
question would be, why does this piece of property have to be open now? Knowing all these problems that everybody's having back here, has the committee taken this into consideration?
I think that's what we've been discussing for the last hour on why we're doing this in order to fix all these issues.
I'm sorry, I've only been here 2 years, 2.5 years.
Mhm.
And knowing the individuals who I have met living back there, this has been going on for quite a while. It's been open, it's been closed, am I right?
Last time it was opened was in 1978.
And now you want to open it again, and we're having problems with it being closed, not open.
And that's why we're trying to put laws on the books. As
Have you considered maybe putting a parking lot in the facility?
we've considered a lot of things. There are a lot of things we're
I
considering.
would like to see this table, and meet again, find out, know more about what's going on, maybe solve some of these problems. But Brendan, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Yep, just come on up.
Orchard Avenue. No, Kate, I heard you say that maybe there was a subcommittee, a committee and then a subcommittee. Is it anybody, any of the residents, like from our little area or an area on the committee that could help bring ideas or bring stuff back to the rest of the group? Like, we didn't even know this was going on until Mr. Roulette was kind enough to, let us know that there's a meeting coming up.
Well, I would fully encourage residents to start attending these meetings, and I'm not saying that flippantly.
The committee meetings.
Yeah, our regular township committee meetings, we've been discussing Hawk Island for the better part of the last year or so. And
And like the couple that's living on the island now, they don't have social media, as far as I know, they don't have any kind of social media, so how would you kind of reach out to them? Would it just be trial and error? If you catch them back there, then you'll speak to them?
Well, now it's brought to our attention, I'll let the patrol division know, and obviously, like I said, forward me any information, and we can have a better chance of making contact with them.
it sounds like the residents knew there were people out there, but no one has let any of us know, so
Well,
there was.
we don't know. How do we know what to do? Like, we just, we're like running blind here. We have
Well-
no idea. We talk amongst ourselves, but that's it.
Yeah,
We
you
get
have to,
paid.
you have to, you actually either have to call the police or contact one of us. But,
Come
as
up here, talk to
everyone
any of the
has
staff
said
in the office,
here,
they'll
and
help.
Rob and Christine have also added that this is our start to correct the problem. And I know you think it's not because
No,
it says
that's not true,
closed.
Kate.
But by opening it, we can have rules and regulations to control it. But until we do that, our ordinance that's on the books, it just stops us. And the police cannot police it the way it is right now. But with these rules and regulations, we will be able to control them. And if we can do the parking permit on the weekends, that would help. And if we can amend the ordinance down the road to stop coolers,
things come up,
we may be
you
able to
make
do that
changes.
as well. So if, as you come up with different ideas or different thoughts or things happen, please keep it open. Let us know. Don't hesitate. I mean, I know most of you that have spoke tonight, and my phone is always open, my email, whatever, and the police. So we do want to correct the issues, and this is the beginning. And it doesn't seem like that, but believe me, it really is the beginning.
We're worried. It's not like we're against it.
Right.
We just want to make sure that it's done correctly and
Yes.
that we're protected.
Yes.
Our homes, our areas are protected. That's what we're concerned about.
I understand that, Deb. So,
The township code, it's a living and breathing document.
Yes.
You know, the town was enacted, we're coming up on our centennial in 2 years, 1926. You know, the township code has been amended, changed numerous times for various reasons throughout the last 100 years. And when we see something that needs change, like the last time this section was looked at was almost 46 years ago. And we're hearing,
folks did.
we're
And by
from
calling.
residents who've been out there who have been seeing these sort of things.
Right.
Yep. And we're trying to address these issues that have been festering for the last 45 years. You know, since it's been closed, it hasn't helped. It's been getting
Right.
worse. Mr. Stinger, you have another comment?
Mike Stinger, 410 Orchard. Kate knows I've been a boater. I was a boater for about 30 years. And yeah, I ran my boat up on the beach out there and had a good old time. But if police call the state police and they go out there and police that beach part, it might put an end to something.
We've, over the years, we have definitely been in communication with state police out at Burlington Barracks. They have a large area to cover, and
Well, they go
we
up
don't
and down
control,
the river
and,
all day
well,
long
but we
because
don't,
I water skied out in that river for 30 years, and I
but
see
they
it.
do
I
not
got
work for,
tickets from
they
them.
do not work for me, and we
I
can
understand that, but
we can ask for the
you call them
assistance.
as the chief or
Oh,
somebody
it's
with
been done.
authority,
Yeah, it's been
rather
done.
than myself calling.
That's done.
You're gonna get a lot more
That,
action.
and that's been done, and we've,
And the same with the lake too. If the lake's not owned by us, it's owned by the state. Why can't you call the state police and have them?
and we
go
have,
clean it out?
2 years ago, I think it was 2-3 years, don't quote me on the years, but we worked with them on a detail because we were having such a large problem coming from Philadelphia with people actually having a service where they were charging people money in Philadelphia to come over to Hawk Island. So, I mean, we have worked with them. It's not that we haven't, it's just, you know, it's a problem, and we have to get a hold of it and be proactive with it.
I'm sure you have, and my point was that, you know, your authority is a lot stronger than.
Sure, we have a relationship, with them, and,
I'm a resident of the.
but it's at the same time, in the summertime, obviously, it's busy everywhere for them as well, and so we will continue to make those
I wish you all
calls.
the best out there.
Thank you.
Fern, do you have anything to add since you spoke to the residents, and do you have anything to
I
add?
appreciate folks coming out and sharing your life experiences there. Yes, Vince.
And another thing, come on up.
It seems to me that this is pretty much already something that you're going to vote positive for. If this is passed and rules are enacted, how long does the township plan to continue on this course before there's a realization or some incident that says, you know what, we thought this was going to work, we hoped it was going to work, but the evidence has proven that it just didn't work, and we went the wrong way, we need to do something else. How much time would you give this experiment to come to that conclusion where we have to do something else?
I don't know if any of us is prepared to say how long.
Yeah.
I hate to use the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. And again, this is a malleable situation. This governing body is trying to take action to address known issues. The hope is that we're going to find success, right? That's the hope.
Right.
We don't know everything that may flow from this. And we've heard some good ideas about adding a ban to coolers. My recommendation is to move forward and to revisit the ordinance with an amendment to ban coolers. To look at the parking issues. So we're going to keep looking at these things, but, you know, you got to try and do some things and see how it works. The realm of possibility out there is endless. So that's why I say if we were in court, I'd object to the form of the question. I don't know what's going to happen,
Right.
and how long it's going to take. But all you got to do is pick up the phone if you're having issues and say, we're having issues or come back to a meeting, we're still experiencing problems or we're experiencing new problems or change problems. That's what, we're trying to solve the problem, not create one.
Well, it almost seems like the district attorney in San Francisco who said that we're not going to prosecute anybody as long as you shoplift less than $950.
I don't know how it seems like that, sir. I don't know how it seems like that.
Let's give it a try and see, and your comments need to continue to come to the township committee or to the police so that we do know what's going on out there if we're not there. And once it's in place and the rules are posted, then we can enforce it. Then Adam and his department can enforce these laws. Right now, we can't enforce it. That's what we're trying to do, to be able to enforce
I
it.
hope you get sick of me calling because I am going to call. I've called multiple times.
And continue doing so.
They told us to stop calling after a while.
No,
They told us to stop. It's like a year ago that we started.
I am telling you to continue to call.
Can you try to have the permit thing in order before you open this up? Because that would make a big difference.
Yes, it would.
Well,
Big difference.
by opening this up, by this ordinance, they're not going to be able to be back there past dusk.
We
So
have to
right
deal with
now-
the riffraff on our street.
Okay.
So if we had permit
I think the
parking,
permit-
at least we know it's just our
do
neighbors.
I think we could easily get, all we're doing is, we could mirror what we did on Delaware Avenue, put an ordinance in effect within, 30
Put
days?
that-
Yeah, we can.
Because at least then the cars that are from out of state won't be there, and if they are, what happens? We call you and you come tow them? Because they'll be out there for hours.
They'll be issued the summons.
Yeah.
And then they won't
How
come
long,
again, right?
how long will that take
Just-
us? 30 days?
Just a couple of blocks from our house down on Cedar Avenue, there's resident parking only from dusk till dawn. But we do have an ordinance that's similar to what we're asking for.
Yeah, it's permit
Yeah.
parking.
Yeah, right
It's
at the foot
actually,
right at the foot of Delaware Avenue you're talking about.
yeah, it's,
And that was to address late-night problems along the riverfront there.
Our street.
That would
And
help.
Yeah.
The immediate streets, absolutely.
so, we could have Doug start that process, but we don't want to hold this up for that. We want to at least, because this is going to be a month before it's totally opened, anyway. So if we can start that and maybe at our next meeting, yeah, we have to order
Get the signs
signs.
ordered.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to do something. We're going to help your parking issue. So just,
It's not just the parking, it just, like I said,
Well,
they
It'll
come onto our
cascade down.
property and make themselves at home and.
Pick peaches off my tree.
yeah, really.
All right, we've heard all this.
Yep. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Did you have you're good? Okay. All right. Seeing that, we will,
Will you be providing porta potties?
it's not a park.
It's not a park.
It's not a park. Just come, if you have a question, come on up and just. All right, thank you everyone for your comments. We will close this public hearing for ordinance 2024-19. The comments from the committee, I'll start to my far left. Kate?
Well, I'll tell you, I've lived in Delanco most of my life, and I know most of the people here, and I've heard your complaints. I talked to many of you sitting right in that section. And I really, truly believe that this ordinance will help us to enforce the issues that you have to deal with. If we don't do this, we cannot enforce what you're asking us to do. That's why we've decided to do this. And it will benefit you. We will work on the parking, and we can probably have that done. Doug can look into that, and we should be able to have that done within 30 days with the working with the chief and his department. So I am in favor of it to see how we can enforce the issues and to hope that we just move forward for a better place for Delanco to enjoy Hawk Island. I would love to be able to walk back there myself.
Thank you, Kate.
We'll keep you advised. Well, I would suggest that you maybe leave your name and number. We have the list, we have the list for the residents, and we also have a social media that post that we can just.
I'm on the residents of Delanco, I don't post everything.
Well,
Right, and
Delanco Township has a
Follow the
post.
Delanco Township page,
We'll post something there.
and you can sign up for our email blast.
If you
We have a website, everything is posted on. We
Yeah.
bombard the information out there. It's out there.
Yeah.
We've got a list of, and you send emails out for first.
Yeah, go-
Delanco Township,
Yeah, DelancoTownship.com, and there's a sign-up link right on there. You get all of our emails.
and you'll get all our
For
emails.
everything. If the trash truck is late, or if there's tree pickup this week, or whatever it is. You'll, no. Okay. Yes, Janice?
We have on our website, okay, delancotownship.com, there's a tab for ordinances public hearing that you can go on, you can, you don't have to physically come to the building. They have to be posted on the bulletin board out there, but we post them on the Delanco Township website. We don't email blast ordinances, but on the website, once that ordinance is introduced, which means it's introduced by title, and the public hearing, tonight's public hearing is set, and the whole body of the ordinance is on the website under ordinances, public hearing tab. So you would know way in advance before the public hearing, and have access to that ordinance.
What she said. Mike, anything going around the room?
I've been in town 24 years, and I think since shortly after I moved into town, I heard about Hawk Island. And a lot of people have spent a lot of time over the years, over the decades, realizing, knowing what a great area that is and what it could be, and trying to prevent bad things from happening to it. Couple sitting over there, Laurie Van Genderen, Ann Ward, Dan Martin, Debbie Ritson, Joan Hinkle. Kate's been involved in that for a long time. Part of the murkiness of solving Hawk Island is, as what's come out in bits and pieces here, it's under several different owners, several different questionable owners, and that's kind of made it difficult. And this ordinance tonight, it's kind of been mischaracterized as we're opening it. If you want to call it, we're opening it to the people that follow the rules. But really, we're taking the handcuffs off our law enforcement and defining the things and where they can do what they're supposed to do, or what they can do. So I like this. It's been a long time coming. It's not the end of it. It's a step in one of many steps over the last several decades that a lot of people have had a hand in. So this is their success too.
Thank you, Mike.
The ordinance that's being presented, as I've mentioned to many of you, gives the police teeth to be able to enforce the laws. And having it open to the public, mainly, hopefully, most of the residents in town will take advantage of Hawk Island and start walking out there and doing the good things of litter cleanup and enjoying the island. If we don't do anything and we just continue what we're doing, the issues never go away. It's like I guess the definition of insanity, where we just keep doing the same thing. And by putting in the ordinance that is being presented, again, with our police department, and we're relying on them and the residents as they walk out there and see things, pick up the phone and call. Most of you know where I live. Come knock on the door. Kate Fitzpatrick, again, we live in the neighborhood, okay? And we're concerned about what goes on over there. We've heard about the gunshots at night and the four-wheelers and the dirt bikes and the carrying on. I hadn't been out to Hawk Island probably about a year and a half, and this past week, walking out there, the trash on the point where the folks party, they have boats and jet skis, and the amount of trash, I think it was vodka bottles at the one trail that we walked down to go down to the beach. There were four or five bottles of empty vodka. The one trail we were going to come back up the hill, there was so much trash, trash bags that were there. We had to turn around and go back to go a different route to get back up. But having people who care about our natural resource out there will help get that cleaned up. And I can make a commitment, because I'm on committee for at least 2 more years, that, at the end of the 2 years, that if it doesn't work, then I would come back to the committee here and say, it's not working, we haven't been able to make an impact, a positive impact, that it's time to just close up the island and, not allow anyone back there. But to me, that, we won't have to go down that road. We've increased our police department, we have more police officers, and initially, I think in the beginning of May and June, if we have a good police presence out there to discourage the folks and, that are doing bad things out there, that they're going to go find someplace else to go. It was mentioned about Amico Island and West Ave and how those parks that are open to the public have cleaned up. Ms. Holland mentioned about the cleanup days. The last time we did a clean out there that I was part of, I had a trash bag. I picked up 2 pieces of trash,
At West Avenue,
and so that was a good thing. Where before, you pick up 3 or 4 trash bags full of stuff. So good things can happen out of this, and we just have to think positive. The parking that came, the parking permit that came out of the discussion this evening that was mentioned by the residents here is a great idea, and move on that. That should help the parking situation out front of your homes. Will it eliminate the litter? It'll probably curtail it somewhat. Can't guarantee nobody's going to go over and pick a peach off your tree, but positive things are going to happen. And when we make the change to the ordinances, I'll share the ordinance. I'm not opposed to making copies, and for the folks that abut, or their properties abut to Hawk Island, to share that with you. Okay? The subcommittee that, you're welcome. The subcommittee for Hawk Island and the rules and regulations, next time they go to meet, there's someone from the neighborhood that wants to be part of that, let us know. Can be included. Because you folks are a close-knit 2 blocks of residents, and you know each other, and you care about each other, that, maybe you have a spokesperson that says, we can bring this forward. Or again, come here to the township meetings and don't hesitate to share. So I'm in favor of moving forward with this.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
I kind of said my piece, and I echo what everyone else has said up here. I think it's a good starting point where we need to be as far as getting the police back there and trying to curtail these issues. We all know the issues are there, and they're not going to stop until we do something. We understand there's additional concerns, and we're going to be addressing them. It's an ongoing process, and I appreciate everybody's comments. And Mr. Bartlett, thank you for your work on this. I know you did a lot of research as figuring out who owns what, and trying to get this all together, so we appreciate that as well.
Thank you, Carolyn. I don't want to belabor the point. I echo what my fellow committee people have said up here. We can't just sit on our hands and do nothing. We have to try to rein this in from 1979 to now, the last 45 years. I'm originally from New York. I've been out here 20 years now. I've seen what happens when you sit on your hands and do nothing, and we just can't allow that to continue. The bad behavior, like I said before, you can't fix stupid, but we can certainly try. So, before we move to vote on this, why don't we take a 5-minute recess, and then we'll come right back. 5 minutes.
Back at
Back at 45.
Thank you, guys.
Now, you could hang out and wait for us to vote. That's entirely up to you.
I just want to thank the public work people and our police department. They do a great job.
They sure do.
Good, good to see you.
Right. We got a couple years ago. Very typical. A lot of they were estates. Executors discovered their people or whatever. He gave it the rest of it is underwater. The state's got to clean it. Thing that helped us there was islands.
We'll try to outthink them.
Right there, that's for
So we could just say no parking.
A couple other things that are helping us. There's some dangerous species out there. Snail, flower.
And if I go on the weekends,
Yeah, oh, I know.
I have to say,
and it's not just for listen to the people. It's hard to
the state making the legislature today, if you've got parkland next to state property, you could ask for permission to use the state property. You know, That's stayed for many years.
I know, trust me, and that's why.
Another degree of that's kind of what's kept them out of graduating. There are other sites that are illegal. So far, so good. Working with the county, it was on the front burner for the county, and then back burner just because of much easier.
All right, yeah, let's go.
Understood.
Go back.
We're going to get out here till 10.
All right, Ray Jan? Good? All right, we're going to put the meeting back in session, please. Stop clapping, Mike. It's like you're meant to be a teacher. All right.
Let's get this on.
All right, can I have a motion on, to adopt ordinance 2024-19 on second read?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Templeton, second by Ms. Fitzpatrick. Roll call, please, Jen.
Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mr. Rolette?
Yes.
Ms. Seuss? Yes. Mr. Templeton?
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes. And with that, I'm going to direct Mr. Heinhold if he could start working on that no parking ordinance.
I will do that, and I understand you also want to amend.
The amendment for the
that.
coolers and the barbecues. Yep.
I will get that to you right away.
And then we'll get that on the next agenda. All right, meeting is now open to the public for comments or questions
And generators.
and generators and anything else out there
No
that doesn't
crock pot,
involve your feet
no crock
or
pots, no
your
generators.
bike.
So while we were sitting here, I did some research on beach ordinances where they've had party problems, so I'll circulate it. You guys can give me your feedback.
That's great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. All right, meeting's open to the public for comments or questions. Session number 1. If you have any comments or questions on anything else we haven't discussed tonight so far, or if you want to discuss what we've already discussed, come up, give your name and address for the record. Meeting's open to the public. You're making an entrance, Ms. Schindler.
I'm sorry that I don't know section 1 or 2, but I had a question, if it's okay, on resolution 2024-112.
Your name and address.
Oh, so sorry. Julian Schlegelman, 316 Oakland Avenue. I apologize.
112, okay?
What is this for the grant to be submitted?
Jan, can you give me
This is.
I was thinking, what was the resolution?
112, the,
Question on content.
The Lakota grant, the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse?
That's a required resolution to participate in that program. It's gone through different names, CASA, Municipal Alliance, to be able to participate in and receive funding for that grant.
Has the RFP been released and has a proposal been written for these funds? So is this resolution approving a proposal to be submitted?
It's not the proposal, it's to participate, and we participate with Riverside, who's the lead agency.
Right.
So, and I believe that those funds that Delanco received is for
Our lead program.
our lead program, is that correct, Chief?
Yes.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Joanne.
Sorry.
Nope, you're good. Bill?
Good evening. I'm at 11-304 Center Avenue, member of the Shade Tree Commission. I was wondering if there's a place where I could plant oak seedlings. I have about 20 of them in the pot in my house.
What kind of seedlings?
Oaks.
Oaks, oh, no. No comment.
Hey, John, do you have any
'Cause I was
where
looking for
that we could use
another tree.
oaks?
What are they?
I want a place where I could line out a bunch of oak seedlings so they get bigger.
Oh, maybe,
What's that?
maybe West Ave.
Oh, we can find some spots. Yeah.
we-
Would you coordinate with John to find a home at West Ave?
West Ave would be good.
We lost so many trees at
Hawk
West Ave.
Island?
Does
Hawk
it have to
Island.
be? Where does it have to be?
Somewhere where they get water.
Yeah, oh, I have to put them up on the road, up at West Avenue, we can put them,
Okay.
yeah.
It was the last number of storms, we lost a tremendous amount of trees, as I'm sure I don't need to tell you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, these ones are from meeting grounds.
okay,
So they have some historic significance as well.
Oh, good.
good, very good.
Great,
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. And anybody else have any comments or questions now? There will be another session later on in the agenda before the discussion items. Mr. Martin?
Dan.
Good evening, Dan Martin, 628 Pennsylvania Avenue. I understand that there is going to be a discussion on a traffic study done by the Joint Land Use Board's engineer. And I have some comments on it. I've been a resident here for 3 decades. And I've driven around the whole time for the 3 decades. With the exception of a new road, Stub, a creek in Coopertown, there's been no new development of roads for travel in Delanco. I have served on the Delanco Planning Board until this year. In recent years, I have voted against applications. Some applications, including some of the warehouses that have been constructed, because I didn't believe that their traffic studies accurately reflected what was happening. I think because of my obstinance, planning board has included a traffic engineer that gets a chance to look at the applications, not only a civil engineer. I asked one applicant in the Delanco application, why didn't they study a specific intersection, Beverly Rancocas and Coopertown Road, in their traffic study? And their response was, because the county engineer didn't ask for it. They never asked anybody or professionals in the Joint Land Use Board, what areas do you want us to study? That intersection has impact to Delanco. I'm asking the Township Committee to consider funding the traffic study that we need. There's been a large increase of large trucks on Creek Road. I don't use Creek Road anymore. I probably have been on it twice in the last 6 months. I avoid it because of the trucks and the issues. I never use the jug handle. If I have to go south on 95 or on 130, I'll go into Riverton, take Fairview, or Bridgeboro roads. It's slower, but I know I can do it. On Coopertown, there are many trucks that are leaving fully loaded. Leaving fully loaded, they do maybe 30 miles an hour. There are 2 stop signs. Getting to Route 130, we're going to Route 295. They only do about 30 miles an hour. Speed limit is 40. Coming into Delanco, when the trucks are lost, I try to guess how soon it will be that they're doing 20 miles an hour. This morning, I was leaving town in that direction. A truck left Stylus location when I was not even at the town hall. I was caught up to him very soon. Something happened in the township, I don't know if it was township or county, but they decided to make them no passing zones, both all of Coopertown and both Old Creek. So you have a truck doing 20 miles an hour. What happens? You're stuck there. I've had people pass me illegally. The police were not there. And the issues on Coopertown don't include the 3 empty warehouses that Delanco had and the 1 empty warehouse that Edgewood Park has. I am talking about evaluating areas outside of the township, but it is affecting the quality of life of township residents. So therefore, it should be looked at, and it should be part of any decision that the Joint Land Use Board makes on an application. Also in the traffic study, not talked about a lot, there are many pedestrians utilizing these warehouses, or working at these warehouses that come from the train. We're walking on unsafe areas. I would like the traffic study to evaluate that and come up with recommendations. The other one, which is a little personal peeve, if you remember when the river line was first proposed, they told us that the train would move no faster than the adjacent roadway. That's blown out of the water. On Pennsylvania Avenue, it's moving more than 25, and the River Road is moving over 60 miles an hour, when it's going between St. Vincent, Riverton, and St. Vincent. It's just not right. But so therefore, that is part of our traffic study. How does the train affect everybody? I thank you very much.
Dan, all these things you're suggesting that go in the traffic studies, such as the warehouses out of town, is that reflected in Mr. Dougherty's proposal?
I doubt that the train was, and I doubt the pedestrian was. I think most of it was a concern.
Yeah.
Okay, most of it, again, most of the quality of life issues deal with vehicle traffic. But there are other things that should be looked at as part of any application on the Joint Land Use Board, as well as guiding the town committee planning for the township.
Actually, Mr. Dougherty indicated that if we had specifics, that we should let him know, and they would be glad to include them in the traffic study.
Yeah, I think it was including just a certain, like a finite number of locations. It wasn't unlimited. I don't remember the number.
But the locations outside of the line,
Right.
which is an oddity for a municipality to do. But we can't leave the township without going into another town. There's nowhere to go.
Delaware River with the guys partying.
We got to put a road on Rock Island.
We're not going there, Dan. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for being obstinate, Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Tarowski.
Mr. Martin has opened the issue that's later on your agenda, the circulation report.
I'm sorry, Carl, just give your name and address for the record.
Carl Tarowski, 65 Bennington Court.
Thank you, sir.
I am a member of the Joint Land Use Board, also a member of the Shade Tree Commission. I am not here tonight representing either of those groups. I am here tonight speaking for myself and to encourage you to spend the money, although it will have a negative effect on my taxes. I realize that, but perhaps Mr. Schwab will find a way to work it into the budget to encourage.
It's in the budget.
In the budget, it's a question whether it's the right thing, that's all.
Mr. Schwab agreed to a salary decrease. He's good.
Thanks.
And to do so, I'd like to just quote one small paragraph out of Hugh Dougherty's letter of August the 2nd to all of you. And that is this: due to an anticipated increase in infill development throughout the township, where vacant and underutilized land will be developed, and redeveloped for residential and commercial purposes, understanding the roadway systems will become much more critical. And certainly, I try to do my best in making decisions that benefit the town, but the more information I have to assist me in that is of benefit to everyone. And therefore, I encourage this board, when it comes to the discussion of the traffic study, to consider the benefits that it will be for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Your turn, Ann.
She's gone.
Janice will get you.
Ian Moore, 222 Edgewood Avenue. I've been on the board a very long time, and one of the things that we've seen happen is that when we start planning something, things change. So you look at what was the crossings. Originally, that was going to be little shops with apartments on top. Then it was going to be townhomes, and it was going to be single-family, non-age restricted, and then it ended up being age restricted. When you have no idea what our warehouses could be in 5 to 10 years, you have no idea what the little bit of vacant land that we have now is going to be, and the warehouses that are occupied, those uses could potentially change. If we don't have this baseline study, we're hamstrung. So that when we get an application, the only thing we can look at is the traffic study that they present to us, which only reflects the immediate roads within this town. And we're tying our hands. We cannot do the best for the town if we don't get this baseline study done. This is a tool to go to the county. This is a tool to go to the state to give them a reason to get some federal dollars to help, to get state dollars to help, to do nothing, because this is something we needed for a while. Bernie said, sit on your hands and do nothing, it's basically insane. So let's be progressive, let's be proactive, and not end up where we get an application and we're very, very limited as to what types of improvement we can get to the thing. So I do think we will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Anyone else? Lori? All right, we will close this portion of the public comment.
Mayor, I'm not sure whether the folks are staying
I think we should discuss it.
for the discussion part. And out of respect for these folks, if they're not going to be here, I have some questions and some comments pertaining to the doing a traffic study.
Do you want to move the
Right.
discussion?
Yeah, why don't we move the discussion for the traffic study to now, assuming, I closed the public comment already, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we move the discussion on the traffic study to now, and then we'll do the comments and reports after that.
Okay.
You want everyone to report?
That's good.
It's getting late.
Yeah.
It's past our bedtime too, don't worry.
If you don't mind, I'll open
Sure,
up with
go
the
ahead.
things that I have. So the traffic study, we're just looking for car counts and truck counts on certain roads. So what I have, and going through the papers, so I have a composite map, a land use map, a zoning map, a Rancocas Creek Greenway map, a Route 130 concept plan map, Burlington County River Route Corridor Study, which encompasses Route 130 at Bridgeboro Road, Edgewater Park, Burlington Avenue, County Road, Route 543, Coopertown Road, County Road number 624, Creek Road, again, County Road number 625. And I also have Burlington County Master Plan Reexamination Report, which includes Edgewater Park, Riverside, Willingboro, and Beverly. So out of all those reports, I guess my question is, why do we need someone to come in and do a traffic study? Can't we just request from the county the counts, their last study, or their last car counts for the county roads that lead into Delanco?
Please, Laura.
I think,
Why don't you just give your name and address for the record?
oh, sure, Lori Van Genderen, 318 Maple Avenue, Blanco. I think there's a little bit of confusion about what this is actually going to be, and I wish Hugh and Spencer were here to talk about it as they were at the last meeting, but I'll try to. And we keep calling it a traffic study. It's really a circulation element to our master plan. It's bigger than just a traffic study. We do have a circulation plan element now, but it certainly needs to be enhanced. And one of the issues that, or one of the tasks that Pannoni is going to perform in presenting this is they are going to do car counts and truck counts. They had said it they would talk to you guys about where the need is, in particular, to study certain intersections and perform those counts. But the other thing that they're going to do is to glean all that information from past applications that we've had, when applicants have done their own traffic studies, and they're going to look at that and they're going to pull all that information into this document. So there's a lot of plans out there, as you're saying, but, and we even had a board member, Chris Kloss, a former member, who did some work on his own, but the fact that he was a layperson and not a professional, it really didn't hold as much weight, but it was no less warranted than Pannoni's study will be. And as Ann said, when we're sitting up there on the board, and Fern, you're a prior member, Matt, you are, Carolyn, you're on there now, Mike, you come to all our meetings, Kate, you know what we do. You're sitting there listening to someone give you an application, and I have yet, in my 20-plus years of sitting on that board, for an applicant's engineer or traffic expert to tell me that their development is going to negatively impact our township. And we all know that that's not true. One of the things that you're supposed to consider is it going to lower the level of service at an intersection? Well, guess what? The intersection at Creek Road is already a level of service F. You can't get any lower. But we have no recourse. We can't say to them, you're going to make this worse. We all see what happens out there at 3 or 3:30. You're backed up on that road past to Pennington Park. And it takes several cycles of lights to get there. Would it benefit to have a right-hand turn lane there? Things like that, that this circulation plan element, looking at pedestrian. We've all seen the people walking from the train in the morning to the developments that are out on Cooper Street, Coopertown Road. What can be done to alleviate some of those things? That's what we're looking for, something that is specifically looking at Delanco and the issues that we're having. And yes, we can pull in some of that other information. The more the better. And I would love for it to be a very comprehensive document. And I have confidence that Pannoni is going to do a really good job with it. But as Ann said, we need to have that baseline. We need to have that to be able to rely on or to refute when traffic experts come in from applicants and say, this isn't going to affect the town, it's not going to have any negative impact. We need to have something where we say, well, wait a minute, this is what we've got. What are you going to do to alleviate putting any more of a stressor onto these roadways and these intersections? So that's what we're looking for. Something specific to our town that's a part of our master plan, not necessarily a standalone document. It's going to be a part of the master plan that will rely on, planning. That's what we're supposed to be doing, planning, and this is long overdue, long overdue.
I'm going to come across and, I guess, being the devil's advocate, again, because I have these reports, or these maps, we have a sidewalk plan addressing that we're working on from the train station to the industrial section, okay? There's a bike path plan that's in here that was put together for traffic coming through town for bikes. The bridge, going all the way across. We have the Pennington to Amico Island trail that came through. So we have all these pieces or all these tools already. And so we're going to give this to the engineer, the traffic study engineer, and he's just going to take our information, put together and do a traffic count, and then come back with what information that's going to be.
Yeah, he's going to look at all that information, and they are going to make suggestions on how we can improve things.
Okay, so
We don't have that now.
And so a lot of our impact is from surrounding communities, from Riverside, Edgewater Park, and Beverly. And we have no jurisdiction into those communities.
Yes.
How do-
I think more than that, it's all on the county roads.
But
Well, it's county roads and the state.
right, so if you want to see those things improved, we need to have a tool that we can take to the powers that are in charge of those or oversee those intersections, the county, the state, whoever it be, and say, here's the proof. This is what we're experiencing. What are you going to do about it? At this point, I mean, for those of you who have been here for a lot of years, 10, 15 years ago, Mark Remsa and the county's Economic Development Committee came in and said, we want you to embrace business. We want to be business friendly. We want to revitalize the riverfront corridor, and this is how we're going to do it. You need to revise your ordinances to allow for growth in business development. We've done that.
Right.
And they said they were going to make certain improvements, one of being the jug handle out at Route 130.
Right.
That was a 10 or 15 year horizon. Well, we're well past that now, and nothing has been done. And if we just keep ignoring it, nothing will ever get done.
So this is their plan,
Yeah.
and that's the improvements that they made.
The improvements that they made worsened the drive-through to Delanco, Edgewater Park, and Beverly. And actually, I have been working with New Jersey DOT regarding that jug handle. But I've been doing this, it's been probably my third year now working on that jug handle. If I had that traffic study, I could just send it to them, because these entities take forever to deal with us, including the county. But if we have our own package and we can say, here Joe and here Senator, this is what's happening in Delanco. Now, here it is in black and white, not just my word, not just my letter, not just my email. This is it. Help us correct it. It needs to be corrected, because Lori is absolutely right. I sat on this committee for a number of years, and I went through Mark Remsa with the plans. And the last plan they gave us, and he was here, people came here and said, what do you want here, there, and everywhere? And we made a list, and of course, nobody listened to our list, but one of them was the jug handle. Big deal. Mark said, and they had a plan to change it. They were going to enlarge, they were going to put a jug handle at Cramps.
Yep.
And we were never told that deal went through because Edgewater Park didn't want it. The only way I found out was complaining about the jug handle. That's how I found out, because Mark said that would take, I said, well, how long? He said about 8 years, and that was probably 15 or 20 years ago. I don't know for sure. But to me, this is the tool that Delanco needs for Delanco, for our residents, to make sure that whatever future development or changes are made, that we control some of the issues. That's my spiel.
So I think the best way to put it is we have to be our own advocate, right? We can't rely on the county coming in here to do anything. It's, the best way to put it is the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? That's what Richard likes to call me.
Yeah.
That's one of the things.
The squeaky
You're
wheel.
not supposed to tell everybody this stuff.
So you have to be your own advocate. You have
Yes.
to advocate for yourself and for the county roads that are in our town, because if we never say anything, what's to give them any incentive to come here and do anything? They're not just gonna say,
Exactly.
hey, let's look at Delanco Road. Whoever makes the loudest noise is gonna get the results, and look what Delran's getting through their Route 130 corridor. They're getting the pedestrian pathway and some improvements, you know, going there, probably because they made noise about it, not because the state or the county figured it out on their own, you know,
Right.
so.
And that's the dumbest thing ever. We're gonna put pedestrians on Route 130.
Yeah.
I
Who
know,
came
I
up with
did
that?
I did send a letter about that. I was really like shocked, but.
Yeah.
Leave it to
So-
the government, they'll help.
Does anyone else have any comments about this? Because
And just come, don't trip yourself.
It's not just the roads within our borders. It is that intersection on the road.
Yes.
Noni's gonna look at that, and we're gonna look at the turn from Freetown to Bridgeboro. They're the critical numbers that we really are gonna need to be able to push back. And the other thing that Noni will do, will look at what our road improvements could be made, even if it is the county that's gonna have to fund it. If we get a change in use in any of these big warehouses, there is not a reason why the county could not ask for some sort of developer contribution. And if we've got those recommendations in the report, again, we've got something to go back to the county and say, you have the ability to do this, you need to do this.
Matt, what was your comment? I know we were talking earlier and you had brought up something that you wanted to say as far as the traffic study.
Oh, yeah, you didn't
I
want to.
think I can remember what I thought we talked about earlier, but the one thing that's coming to my mind right now
Yeah.
is if we're doing this, are they going to include in the traffic study the fact that our bridge is closed what seems like half of the time because the county won't fix the flooding in Riverside on County Road 543, thus exacerbating the traffic on Creek Road, Coopertown Road, the Jug Handle, the traffic light by Wawa?
Well, I would doubt that Pinoni's aware of that, so we certainly can make them aware of that, and they can include that in the study or the report.
Because that's one of the biggest issues plaguing this town right now. And the fact that we have told the county engineer about it, I've told the county engineer, Mr. Yeah, Harry's still there, he's been quiet tonight. Harry has told the county engineer about this numerous times. We've sent photos, we've sent videos, and
Yeah,
and that's what we get.
They don't think there's a problem.
we all did. Mike did, I did.
Don't
we all
forget,
been
they
writing
put
together
signs up for
years.
us.
Oh, yeah, they're putting the signs up,
Yeah.
hidden behind trees.
Bridge
It said the
closed.
roads
Bridge
flooded.
closed, 50 feet.
Well, after,
The wrong
well,
spot.
after you're in that area already,
Yeah.
leave it to
Yeah,
government, they'll help.
Any specific concerns that you have, certainly, make them known to Hugh and Spencer, and I'm sure they can address them.
Those things have to be in there. I wouldn't even consider this.
The Golden Triangle, of what I can see on construction over there, they're gonna build, over in Riverside, they're gonna build those houses over there before they do anything with the watch case. Because I think the watch case just became a money pit, and nobody's making money over there, so they wanna get the housing built, so whoever can get some money to do whatever over
Different
there.
owners.
Two different owners.
Two different owners.
Yeah, different owners.
Yeah, Watch Case is owned by, I think, the developers in Cherry Hill now.
Yeah.
After the slimy guy from New York who did the fraud.
Right.
And I don't know who's.
But that's gonna have an impact on the
Sure,
bridge.
because they're not improving that intersection there right before the bridge. That's gonna be the entrance into the main development. So when that floods and that road's closed, the only way in and out of that property is behind the watch case on an access road there.
Yeah, they're going to give them an access road.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
behind
that's,
the
Watch
train
case
tracks?
yeah.
Yeah, and how the hell that got through the,
Yep,
excuse
I
my
don't know
French,
how
got
it
through the
got
county
passed, but-
planning board. Because anything on a county road has to go to the county planning board. How that got approved, it's beyond me.
Should have
I
had a
digress.
circulation study, right?
But again, that's gonna have an impact
Sure.
On us.
our community.
Yeah, so do we have to discuss this any further, or can we?
I think Mike did you have anything, Mike?
Yeah, it's interesting how this has evolved. because I don't have other things to do on Tuesday nights of the first Tuesdays of the month. I usually hang out here at the planning board and talk to the members, and this has evolved. It's gone back and forth. Some have said some of the things that it wasn't going to make a difference, and no, it will help, and no, yes, it will, no, it won't. But it's nice that it's all come to a consensus that this is the best thing. Just as something to point out, and I know Mr. Arlett's done some great research and pulled up all these reports. A couple of years ago, when Kitty Martin, Planning Board Administrator, and I were working on the Route 130 plan for Delanco's component of that, and going through the initial document that was prepared by the county planners, Tom Stenny-Kindness, there was a lot of bad information, a lot of bad data, and it was old stuff. It was 10 years old, 20 years old, and it had the imprint of something new, something fresh, and something current and accurate. And that, as Mrs. Martin and I were pulling our hair out for a year and a half or so, trying to get this thing to some semblance of reality, and it never got there. So I think a dedicated, personalized study for Delanco, covering the outer sphere of what impacts Delanco, environmental as well, that's the best accurate snapshot that we'll be able to get, because there's a lot of bad data out there. There's a lot of information, but it's just hard to keep up with it. And there's some old stuff out there that bad decisions are being based on it.
Yes, Carl Tarosky again. And I wanted to respond to Mr. Olet. I have great respect for all of the members of the board, and this is not an argument. And I'm not, again, speaking for the groups of which I am member, but I am speaking for myself. And I would like to say that I appreciate all that information you acquired, but you acquired all that information of the towns around us. I don't sit on any of the boards of those towns. I need information specifically about Delanco to help me do what I think is best for this town. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the
you want to respond to that, so go ahead.
I would. So where I got the circulation map was from our master plan. Okay.
Just to be clear, the Delanco Township Master Plan.
Then I've got the composite map, the land use map, and the zoning map.
Yeah,
So
all those
again,
are
those
part of
are
the master plan,
all,
correct?
all attached to our master
Yeah,
plan.
And this would also be a component of the master plan.
Mhm.
So it would,
So for the upcoming master plan, or
no, we
it
would just
be a text?
update that circulation plan element to the current master plan.
Okay.
That would be what this is.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we do updates within that time period of when we do the whole master plan. So
Correct.
we do, yeah, like adding ordinances.
Correct.
So the information that I have was not just from the surrounding, but specifically for Delanco. And
And that would be,
items that I
that would be augmented by what the proposal.
the proposal would be.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Do we need a motion?
I would like to make a motion, or do we need a resolution?
No, motion's fine.
Motion?
It's in the budget already?
Yeah, it's already in the budget, just a question, do you want to use that particular proposal, accept that for the proposal?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that we approve the proposal from Pannoni dated November 21st, 2023, revised December 27th, 2023, and include his letter of August the 2nd, 2024, for a circulation plan element of the master plan for Delanco Township.
And the amount of,
$25,000.
I'll second.
I'll third it.
We're doing those now, huh? All right, motion by Kate, second by Carolyn, and third for the hell of it by Fern. Roll call, Jen?
Mrs. Patrick?
Yes.
Mr. O'Leary?
I say yes, and I thank you for the discussion. I appreciate it.
Ms. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Templeton?
Yes, and include the, there were two items that we were going to add to it, right?
The bridge approach.
Bridge, and there was something else.
Yeah, we're going to add, Pannoni said for us to give them the information
Yeah.
that we want
All right.
in there. So
Just
we
don't
will
want the-
add that.
Didn't want the door to close behind us there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes, subject to them including that bridge.
Yes.
You guys can go.
Class dismissed. You can stay.
Thank you.
Feel free to stay, please.
Oh.
Lori, it's 9:30. You're making breakfast.
Give him at 10:30.
Well, we'll be here, so feel free to drop some off. Thanks. Oh,
Whoa,
Lori.
that sounds good.
It's the weight of my heart.
Thank you.
Carl.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, Ann.
All right.
Can we get back to your-
It's late for comments and reports, but we'll go to our professionals. I think we have a couple of them here. Mr. Fox.
So wait.
Good morning, Harry.
Microphone, Harry.
Yep, I got
He's
it.
not
Thank you,
talking yet.
sir.
All right. There it is.
Okay, I'll try and be brief.
Reader's Digest.
I'll bring up to date on our projects. The Zubuk seawall, all the pile driving has been completed. The round piles as well as the sheet piles. They're going to be pouring a portion of the concrete cap tomorrow, and they're going to be working on that in the next several days. After that, they're going to be installing the under drains or the drains, and then they'll move on to grading and the sidewalk. So they're moving along quite well. No real issues, and in good shape. Just so everyone knows as well, the vibration monitoring has ceased because we're not driving any more piles, and there was no vibrations above 0.2 inches per second, and allowable is 0.5 for historic, and it's actually a 2 for a regular house. So there's been no vibration issues out there.
Good.
And Harry, the contractor's working on the estimate for the fence, right?
Right.
Correct. He was hoping to have it to me today, and I still don't have it in yet. But yes, he's going to give us the estimate for installing the fence on the top of the concrete cap, as well as he's proposing a vinyl facing
Facade.
on the front on the face of it. I told him to give us a price for that, and then you can decide if you want to do it now or do it later, or how you want to handle that.
It'll make it look a lot more not industrial.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's done that before, so he's pretty familiar with,
He has done it before, and it works out nicer even with the sidewalk abutting it. There's a lot of good reasons to do it, maintenance, but we want to give, he's going to send me a sample as well as a price.
great.
Tell you what, I'm impressed by the quality of work they're doing out there. They've moved along at a great speed. I haven't heard one complaint from any resident regarding any of the work going on out there. They've been cooperative, kind to the neighbors out there.
They have been, they've been very professional, very polite to anyone who's been out there, and yeah, I'm happy with their work.
The only negative we got was from the Kevin Sevilla about the trees,
Yeah,
and maybe doing some kind of injection at the end of the project.
yeah, and I'm not a tree expert, and I told him that as well. If that's going to help the tree, I think that's a great idea. As far as the compaction over the roots, there's really not much you can do out there. I mean, we've all seen the equipment and what they
Yeah.
had to do.
It is what it is.
The area they wanted fenced off, you wouldn't be able to work and put that
couldn't.
section of the seawall in.
You couldn't. You'd have to back each time you went in, you'd have to back up and over the curb, and it's just not really feasible.
Right.
But yeah, if there is a fertilizer injection, it will help. You know, I'm all for it.
Inject away.
Yep.
Is that the ash? Yeah, the sycamore.
What else we got?
The Newton's Landing and River's Edge striping, that is scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday this week. However, the weather coming in, again, it's probably going to get delayed, but there's nothing we can do about that. But we'll keep you posted, because we've been sending out emails every time it gets updated, so, I know the chief has been involved, and also the River's Edge Condo Association are on the chain.
I think this week is bound to be a wash,
I
Yeah,
think so, yeah.
sadly.
literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And that also includes doing a crosswalk in front of Town Hall here and
Right.
passing the
Anything involving paint that doesn't turn to watercolors.
That's correct.
Good.
The Field of Dreams lighting, athletic field lighting, as I'm sure you all know, the foundations are in. The conduit is all complete. They're going to be pulling wires probably next week, again with the weather happening this week. They were out there today and graded and seeded their trench areas. They didn't, so in case anybody notices this and wonders why, they didn't do it around the poles themselves because they're going to be working all around there. So, but they did do their actual trenches for the conduit. With the rain coming, that should be good timing.
Another job well done by another one of our contractors. They did a good job out there. too.
They did a very good job. And we did receive proposals for the service. They came in with really good numbers. We received 2 quotes from the contractors out there now, Bot Electric and Chuck Morris, who does a lot of our electrical work in town. And both quotes came in really, really favorable. And there was only $600 apart on the 2 quotes.
And that's just from the wire,
So
from
that's
from
the
pad.
additional panel that we did not put in this project, it was an additional service that was needed?
Yes,
Yes.
correct. Yep, it's additional service that's going to feed basically just the lights. It's pigtailing off of the service we have now,
Going to the well box.
goes to the well box, correct.
Right.
It will be its own panel. It will be still on the same meter, but it will have its own panel, and it will service the lights.
Yeah, it's just getting a sub panel from the well box.
And that was because Musco doesn't recommend that we have something that initiates a lot of draw at the beginning, like the pump. That can actually cause the lights to flicker, so it was recommended to install that sub panel.
Correct.
Still under budget,
Yes.
under the grant.
Yeah, the pump works on a variable speed drive, frequency drive, and when that kicks on, it messes with the frequencies of the electric current, and the lights can flicker. But the pump shouldn't be coming on while the lights are on, generally, or if anybody's out there playing,
I'd hope
the
not.
pump shouldn't be coming on, right?
Right,
So-
but we got such a good quote to do it because we were able to use that exterior panel, that it just
Yep.
made sense to do it now, yeah.
Yeah.
So all that stuff isolated for lightning protection or any?
There's circuit protectors on it, yeah. The last thing I have is a discussion, if you want to do that tonight or wait, I don't know the timing, on the CDBG handicap ramps.
Yeah, you gotta move on that now, otherwise we won't get it done in time to get the money.
You were gonna.
He sent them to us.
You did?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. The list of,
Yeah, I sent them to Richard, who then sent it to.
I thought he
Fall
sent it to
County.
you.
Yeah, he did.
Pretty sure.
shame on me, I didn't remember seeing that.
It was on August 1st, I believe.
I agree with all of them, so.
But just tell them the locations, Harry.
Yeah,
Please.
the locations are, and what we did was we took our old list that we had from the past couple of years, and where there are no handicap ramps existing, or if there are ramps that are really unsafe. And then all of them that are left, There are 2 areas, Delaware and Hazel, that we're going to be doing on their road program this year, and also Spruce and Chestnut. So taking them off the list, we can get everything else that was on that list completed, which is West Avenue and Goucher. The intersections, there'll be 4 ramps. Memorial Ave and Goucher, there's 2 ramps there. Mulberry and Union, there's 4 ramps. West Avenue and Colgate, there's 2 ramps that need to be done. And Poplar Street and Franklin are 2 ramps. And then what we always like to do in these, we like to make alternates, because if the bid comes in high over the amount, we can still award it.
Right.
But if it's under, we can just award the alternate. So we have an alternate. One is 3rd Street and Cedar. It's where your familiar start street comes around, it turns into Cedar and goes into Vine.
Yep.
And there's actually 3 ramps that go on that intersection. So we have a total of 15 ramps. We could probably add another 1 or 2 as alternates if anybody has any areas that they have concerns with. The only ones we didn't, that don't have them ramps now, is Pennsylvania Avenue up on the north side, which,
Next to John's house.
up in that area, yep. So when John retires and he's using a cane, he'll be able to get up there. Sorry.
The views and opinions expressed by
I'm
Mr.
not done
Fox
yet.
do not
He's not done
represent...
yet.
I haven't talked yet.
He's going to hit you over the head with that cane, Harry.
Yeah, I know he will. So we could add those 2 up there as alternates. Or if anybody else has any in town that they know.
I think the 3rd and Cedar is good as alternates. Those are walked a lot.
So should we make a motion or something to
Yeah, no, we have-
approve that list?
Correct.
Yeah.
You want to approve that list, then later on, the consent agenda, you're going to approve his, the engineering
His-
cost
his
proposal
professional
to
services,
get the job done. So yeah, if that list is acceptable, I would do a motion to
Yeah,
accept
get
that
it
list.
done.
All right, I'll make that motion to approve Harry's list of the 2023 CDBG grant, or 2024, excuse me.
2024.
I'll second that.
Doing all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, we can then. All in
Thank
favor?
you.
Aye. Got it.
Thank you.
And I found your email, Harry. It was buried between all the ones we were talking about with that gas pipe last week, so my fault. It's there.
No problem.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
All right.
Where do we stand with the Public Works building? With the,
It's a little lower on our list, Caroline, I'm sorry. We got to get these other things done
Yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah. Now, weren't we doing something with the gas tank?
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get there. Just doesn't have the same priority as some of this other stuff.
You're a priority in my book, John. I just want you to know. And Harry's gonna
Unfortunately.
add the boat ramp to this list, so we can
Oh,
track
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Please, that boat ramp got destroyed during the construction, so that we need that.
It is, and they're going to, I spoke to them a couple days ago. They're going to backfill that with some stone and PGA
Okay.
for now, but it will be improved further in the future when we get a permit for that.
Good, yeah, we did another water rescue drill out there last weekend, and we had to lift the boat off the trailer and bring it down.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to them again tomorrow because it's getting worse.
Yeah.
A lot of it was caused or at least made worse by them driving their equipment over it.
Right.
So they're responsible to bring it back to where it was before.
Yeah.
But we'll make it nice.
I'm sure.
Good.
And not to belabor this, when they put the new one in, what do they just bring a preformed one in and float it in, I'd imagine?
No, well, they could do preformed or we can use a high early concrete because there's plenty of time between the tides.
Oh, they could do that, okay.
Yeah. And we're going to use buried gabions to go further out. That's the plan.
Right, right.
If Army Corps lets us do it. But it'll just be concrete for, I believe, 30 feet.
Okay.
Then we're going to bury gabions, so it'll be stable rock area that you'll be able to drive out further onto the low tide.
Yeah, we were talking about this at the OEM meeting last week, so.
What are they gonna do about the pilings that are out there?
The ones that are way out there from the old
Yeah.
pier, that's just going to stay there. We can't touch those.
I'd leave it. I mean, it's something that's kind of holding.
It is actually kind of holding the.
Kind of holding.
No, the only thing I was thinking is the boats, that's all.
Well, pull the spikes out. There's always, railroad spikes sticking up.
we can take a look at that, see if it's sticking out. But yeah, the Corps' not going to let us touch those, and I wouldn't recommend it anyway, because that's acting as a jetty type.
And they're historic, so you're just barking up the wrong tree, definitely.
If I can make a comment on a couple projects related to this. You see the Babe Ruth Park improvements, we've authorized Taylor Design to send out to get the quotes for the paving, the resurfacing of the basketball court for that grant. Our QPA authorized that, so we're going to go out on that. And it's also to make note, thanks to the QPA, we could do the electric service for the Field of Dream lights separately. She was very helpful to find the legal way we did that. Also, on the Ash Street, we are going to be asking, in order to get the next step to get a grant for the environmental cleanup, we have to do a park master plan for that area for them. So we'll be asking ERI and Taylor Design to give us proposals to do that piece of the work. So we're going to have to start moving on that in order to make sure we get the state grant for the cleanup. And then, I don't know, Matt, you're not on this time, but saw this whole thing about the gas main issues with PSE&G that you and Harry are going to have to deal with. So I don't know if you want to mention that or not. I had that on my list.
Yeah, we got an email last week through someone I work with at PS, and they're going to be doing their next phase of gas main replacement. It's going to be in the section of town by Buttonwood, Ash, that area, as well as the other side, the Walters, Vine. I don't have the specifics. I sent that map to Harry, and we're going to set up a meeting with them. That's going to be mid-2025, and we'd like to try to align that with the road paving program, so we're not doubling the work and we get some paving done by PS.
I don't think any of those were on our list.
Yeah, actually, I think Delaware was.
Buttonwood was, yeah.
Delaware was. That's the only one that we're proposing to pave. But we do have moratorium on 4 or 5 other streets that they want to.
Oh, for sure.
So we can deal with them and get the best we can with our paving.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a meeting set up with them ASAP so we could coordinate that. Actually said, can they do it this Thursday? So I'm waiting for a response back. Go from there.
Does the water company do anything at the same time?
That would make sense.
Yeah, no, that would make sense.
The
Then they'll wait till
water
the
company,
road's repaved.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, the water company's trying to do bring that main across from, that we talked about
The creek.
last year, across the creek from
Yeah.
Riverside.
We haven't heard a thing from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might want to follow up with them again, because otherwise we're telling them they're going to be on the moratorium, and they're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, we're chasing them, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we do that work on Buttonwood, it's
Deal with our own issues. Okay, thank you. I just want to bring those to your attention.
all right. And one last thing for you, Harry, the stormwater pollution prevention, the plan.
Stormwater.
Too many words this late at night. Where are we at with that?
Yeah, that's being prepared. We're getting some documents from the township that has to be included in it. And
Okay.
then it's ready to go.
The one that was
there?
overdue?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
And of course, we got to look at all those 2 wonderful ordinances. Have to
Yeah.
Have that discussed at some point.
Another night for that.
Yeah, not tonight, just
All right.
bringing it up adds to our priority list.
Very good.
Somebody else sets priorities for us.
All right, thank you, Harry. Wait, Mr. Hine, hold up, we'll go to our last professional this evening.
No further comment, sir.
You stood here this
just got a
long
raise,
just to say
I'm
that.
saying.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Richard,
I have nothing new that hasn't brought up before. Oh, I won't be here next time.
the best thing I've heard, not that you won't be here, that you have nothing else to say. Thank you.
We'll have it all done for the 19th. I don't have to be here for it.
Department heads, Chief.
Good evening, thanks, I'll be quick. Our July statistics for the end of the month ended up with 22 police cases originated. There were 1,153 calls for service. I looked at the stats, that's 400 more this year than we were at last year. There was 160 motor vehicle stops conducted, 40 motor vehicle violations issued, and 7 arrests. On the 1st, we had our newest officer sworn in, Tanju Gumas, and he began the Gloucester County Police Academy today. He'll be in training for the next 20 weeks, and we anticipate he completes the training and joins us Patrolman Christopher Orff just completed our field training program, I'm happy to report, so he's now able to work in a sole capacity and help out the rest of the patrol division. Patrolman Ryan Kearns began his second phase of the field training program, and he is now assigned to Sergeant Maloney. The New Jersey Department of Corrections conducted their detention area inspection, which is conducted every 2 years last week, and we will be meeting with their staff again tomorrow for the final inspection of our recently renovated detention area. We also completed our CGIS audit last week, which we learned quite a few of new things that we'll be working on, and we have a supervisors meeting scheduled for tomorrow evening. And that's all I have to report.
Chief, question for you.
Yeah.
Is there a way to extrapolate the data for the calls of service to the Hawk Island area?
Yeah, we can, yes.
Would you be able to do that on an ongoing basis and then report that monthly, bi-monthly,
Yes.
just so we have an idea?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Just the island or surrounding, I mean,
So I would say that whole area, if it's related to the Hawk Island.
that'll be a little tougher, but
Probably-
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do the best we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be awesome, thanks.
Thank you, Chief. And I
You're
did
welcome.
see Officer Kearns out there, was driving around on Sunday looking for that big explosion that we had, the transformer exploding. I saw him and Sergeant Maloney out there. It was good to finally meet him, even though I live a block away from him.
You never met him?
I never met him.
Yeah, nice guy.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fenimore?
Yes, we still picking up brush. We picked up 72 cubic yards of brush. We cut the township properties 4 times. We replaced 2 stop signs. We removed 1 tree, unfortunately, at West Avenue Trail. We cleaned out 2 storm drains down there on Delaware, the 2 that we were clogged. And I'm going to have Doug Weller go in there with the jetter, and he's going to jet them out to get them out clean on the pipe that goes out. We're probably going to have to figure a way that we're going to have to replace that pipe because the pipe is what?
419? Yeah, it's like a...
That's that big.
Yes, it's
So
very
it's
small.
Like a 12-inch pipe, yeah.
It always fills up. The county's been helping us out for the wood chips, which we are very fortunate that they do. 27 truckloads. That's tandem.
Yeah.
That's tandem truckloads. Okay? I'm going to meet with Kevin, I don't know, one day, Sevilla. One of my problems is trying to put this list together is tree trimming. I've gotten entirely different prices from one contractor to the other, explaining what to do. So if I don't know exactly what the resident wants done, it's very hard to tell. What, you want the tree cleaned out? They'll go in, there'll be 2 dead branches, and they can take it out, and they can charge whatever he wants. So it's a little, so I gotta get Kevin to try to figure this out with me. And then that way I can tell the contractor, what to do. Also, the new fencing out there, is that gonna get anything put down on it? Or is that just gonna be grass parking?
It's grass.
Oh, that.
Okay, well, what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to fill in right where the new road meets the dirt road, because there's a lip about that big, and the people backing in and out is gonna crack all that roadway, sure as hell. So it's gonna have to be filled in with something. I mean, I have millings,
Yeah.
well, we can do it, but I didn't know if it was gonna get filled in with any material.
It's just like the other parking. If you want to put some millings down to ramp it, that'd be awesome.
Okay, I'll get that done. And that's all I have.
John, with the upcoming tropical storm, I guess you guys will be out cleaning storm drains and preparing for all
We
that?
do that all the time, yep.
Yeah.
Anytime rain, it's one of the big things we do.
Okay, awesome.
Good.
And also, I started piling all the leaves up, getting ready for the screening machine in September. The leaves are broken down really good this year. I mean, really good. So hopefully we can get them out by the end of August, instead of waiting until the end of September, when everything starts to happen.
Did you guys order the speed limit signs for the FOD road?
What's
The
that?
15-mile-an-hour signs, were you guys able to order them?
I think Kenny might have, yeah, I think he did.
And Harry, you marked out where they need to go, right?
I did, that was.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. John, whenever you guys are gonna
Little
do
flags.
that, just let Harry know so he can go out the day before and mark it, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
I know you've been busy with all the storm stuff, so.
Thank you, John.
John, I talked to Steve Moritz today, and he wanted to thank you for cleaning up that area. Do you know if that's township owned, or is that an easement?
It's awful, you know, every year I do it. And the reason I do it is because it's all poison ivy.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do it. If I put one of my guys on it, they catch poison ivy, they're out. You know, unfortunately, just like the glob out here is all poison ivy, and I gotta do it. But they have no problem taking care of where the tree stops all the way to the back of the yard.
Yeah.
But they have trouble with that little bit of area, and I don't understand. But I know why, it's because of the poison ivy.
Well, do you know if we own it or if they own it?
No,
Really need a survey for that, I think.
I asked Steve, he's gonna look for a survey, but he said he would, if it was his, if it definitely is owned by him, he'll do it, but he doesn't know that it's his.
I checked in the archives, we didn't have any surveys.
I mean, does he own on the other side of the sidewalk out front of the house? He cuts that, right? Then he cuts the side from his gate all the way out to the curb, but that's just that little bit between
But
those
that
two
little
trees.
section there, that's along, it's actually along the road,
Yeah.
it doesn't have a curb.
Have you guys been out to Hawk Island with the trash?
Yeah, today.
It's pretty out of control.
Yeah, they had that, I think he said, the guy said 3 half cans and 1 full can.
Yeah, they're not putting it all the
And
trash.
it's just, is there litter scattered about? I mean, is it bad?
What's
Is
that?
there litter scattered about, like?
No,
trash?
well, they didn't say. I put the
There's-
young guys on there.
There's litter out there, I mean, Paul Newman sent me pictures last week.
John, at, where the boaters are, on, out by the point, on the riverside,
Right.
there's probably 4 or 5 black plastic trash bags. They're all busted up, and there's beer bottles and cans, and you almost need a backhoe to be able to scoop that stuff out of there.
Yeah, then what do I do with it? It's a shame.
Yeah, it is.
It's a shame. We've been dealing with that for a long time, and just, it doesn't seem to be getting any better. And you can't please everybody, and it's a shame, because it is a beautiful piece of property out there, you know?
Majority of that trash too is boaters
Yep.
who
Yep.
don't want to put it back on their boats.
Right.
They don't want to take it back with them.
Well, they know they can get away with it, so.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
All right, thank you, John.
I guess if they try to take it back with them, and they get stopped out on the river, I guess that they're open
Open bottles.
bottles and open cans.
Can I ask the question?
Sure.
Is there an entrance to the marina to Hawk Island? Does anybody know that?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There is?
yeah, it's that second trail when you're going in
Does
on
the
the
gate
main
stay
road.
open, or does it
No.
stay?
That gate goes into their property though, right? Into the marina property.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's owned by the marina. It goes from their parking
Okay,
lot.
so when that gate's open, then anybody can go back there, right?
I think they just walk around it.
Yeah. Yeah, they just,
It's just a cattle gate.
To be continued. It's an
Oh,
ongoing
yeah.
plan.
Janice?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Thank
Janice,
you.
do we have a install date on the panels?
No, we're actually going to receive a sample panel that'll, of the color that was chosen. That'll be first, and then as soon as we give the okay, then it's like a 6 to 8 week lead on getting the panels. So we don't have a specific install date at this time.
Okay, yeah, let us know when the sample comes in, I guess.
Yep, will do.
For those not following the bouncing ball, the panels we're talking about are sound attenuation panels, so you don't hear this terrible echo in this room. make it easier and better to hear us. All right. Go to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with a single motion. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Does anybody need anything pulled and separately discussed from the consent agenda?
Nope, I'm good.
Vern, Mike, you guys good?
Yep.
All right. On a roll. Resolution 2024-112, Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, GCADA Grant Fund, Resolution Form 1B Bravo. Resolution 2024-113, Resolution of the Township of Delanco adopting the Emergency Operations Plan of Delanco Township. Resolution 2024-114, authorizing one handicap parking space on Poplar Street for 430A Alpha Poplar Street. Resolution 2024-115, resolution authorizing professional services for 2024 locally funded road program. Resolution 2024-116, resolution authorizing professional services for 2024 NJDOT Municipal Aid Grant Road Program. Resolution 2024-117, resolution authorizing professional services for the 2024 Handicap Ramp Replacement Project, the CDBG Grant Program. Payment of bills, current fund, $1,375,842.96. Payroll, $116,835.08. Capital fund, $372,818. The dog fund, $561. The escrow trust, $830. Can I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
All right, Carolyn and Mike, roll call, please.
Mrs. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mr. Lund?
Yes.
Ms. Susan? Yes. Mr. Templeton?
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes. Approval of minutes from June 10th, 2024. Who needs to abstain on that?
Me.
And myself.
Kate and Fern. All right. And a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Okay, Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Abstain.
Mr. Lund?
Abstain.
Ms. Susan? Yes. Mr. Templeton?
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes. Correspondence?
I have none, thank you.
All right, meeting is open to the public for any comments or questions. This is session number 2. If you have any comments or questions on anything, please step up, give your name and address for the record, and speak away. Meeting's open to the public. I guess we've discussed enough tonight on everything under the sun. All right, we'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. Discussion items, we talked about the traffic study. We're tabling Chapter 110, Section 10, governing conditional uses to a further meeting to be announced. And we're going to table the cannabis ordinance for tonight simply because it's 10 o'clock already and we'd like to have a fresh mind.
brain. Yeah.
Like we're
Yes.
not on cannabis to be able to discuss this appropriately.
When, until, to a specific meeting or until,
Call it whatever meeting Doug is here next.
Yeah.
September.
September?
Doug's here. Will you be the September meeting, Doug?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the first meeting of September, which is, that sounds about right, September, no, I don't have that on my
the
calendar.
9th?
Do we have a meeting that night?
I won't be here.
I don't know what the
It's not
holiday
Labor
is.
Day.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't have,
September the 9th I have.
Yes, the 9th,
that's odd, I don't have any September meetings on my calendar, I'm gonna have to fix that. So we're gonna go for September 9th.
which is the second Monday.
You're gonna be away?
Second Monday.
Yeah.
All right, I hope we don't have a need for another executive session?
No.
No? Okay, can I have a motion for adjournment, pretty please?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we're gonna call that Carolyn and Fern, and Kate gets the third on that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for coming out, everyone.
The speed limit sign in front of the school.
So you
Who's in charge of that?
Yeah, we're going to, no,
Yeah,
actually,
it's totally.
August 1st.